what day it is today? Guess what day? Welcome. It is the day before the day. Hey, throw a party before the massacre, so they say. Do they say that? Am I live? I don't think I am. Wait. Hello. I am. Welcome in. Sorry, this Wi-Fi signal has already crept up on me, much like the yellow signal. Look, I think my mic is so low I don't hear myself. That's what's throwing me off. Let me turn this up. Hello? Can you hear me now? Maybe that's a little bit better. Sound? I can actually hear myself now, so now it's not so confusing. Hello. Welcome in. What an intro. Sorry about yesterday. Some things, unforeseen circumstances did occur in which took my attention. But welcome in to United Spurs of America. This is a preview of sorts. A preview and maybe not too much of a fun one. It would be fun for you if you're a rival or something. But for me, I wouldn't say it's the most fun, but it can be fun. I have some ideas of ways and things. I have lineups I think we should look at that I think we should go with. We'll see what Ange goes with. Do I know? Why am I sharing my Spotify too? That's all type of things going on this episode. What is that? Showing you the... Wasn't even meaning to show you the Spotify. But welcome in. How's everybody? Make sure you are hitting that like on the way in. Partake in the poll. The question for today is, what are your final thoughts about Spurs versus City? How's it going to go? 35% says City will dominate and win. That's out of 23 votes. 20 likes. Like to see that. 26% says it's going to be back and forth draw incoming. And another 25% says Spurs surprise the world and dominate. That had 0 votes when I last looked at the poll. Like to see some of y'all coming in there with some great positivity. You know I can feed off that. Hey, just give me the mic and I'll feed off that. Give me the rock, shoot me the ball. But either way you look at it, hey, some may say it's going to be a massacre. Some may say it's going to be a massacre of other sorts. Maybe we have something up our sleeve. Potentially, question mark. I don't know. I've got someone, not up my sleeve literally, but metaphorically, you could say up my sleeve, because you were not prepared for me to bring on a guest, but I do have a guest for you. But before I bring on he's someone I can always talk to before, after a game. It don't matter. He's always going to make me feel, I think, the vibe in which I'm trying to go for the most. That's gross. I just rubbed that on the table. But hey, big up Nita. You get double first place prize tonight. First chat in the house. First YouTube member in the house. But big up Nita, good to see you in the house. Let me bring him on without further ado. I've got someone who I think will brighten up everybody's day. Once you see his face, once you see his name, once your brain, those receptors start going off with your memory of who you know this man to be. I think you're gonna feel good about this little preview show we got coming up. So without further ado, let me welcome on. Some may say, well, you know, I could go on for hours about an intro about Kuva. Man like Kuva. First and foremost, hey, how you doing? How's your weekend going, buddy?
Nice and chilled. Relaxed. This is the good thing about being in an injury crisis and, on the end of a 3-game losing streak. There's no expectations anymore. We're going to the best team in Europe, arguably the world at the moment. And they've hardly got any injuries. And even if they do, they've got a great squad full of in-depth with all sorts of quality players, even the ones coming through their academy. So let's just go in there. When you've got nothing to lose, funny things can happen sometimes.
They say, Kuva, a man is most dangerous when he has nothing to lose. I believe that was Gladiator. It may have been Russell Crowe, but I don't know.
Did you hear the old story of the farmer meeting the samurai?
No. Well, even if I did, which I think I may have, but I may have forgotten it by now. I want to hear it. Let's start the show. I need to hear this.
It's the samurai with his samurai friends. Of course, there's no battle on. So what do? They're warriors. They're getting drunk in the meantime, being boisterous, throwing themselves around the town a bit, and they basically decided to latch onto this farmer's daughter and. They're giving her a bit of a hard time, not in the best of ways. And to protect his daughter, the farmer just came and challenged the samurai. And the The samurai said, "All right, we'll duel them." And the drunken samurai had stood there waiting for the battle to commence, but the farmer had just turned up there with a pitchfork, and the samurai just looked at the look in the farmer's eyes, and he knew the man was prepared to die right there for his daughter, and the samurai didn't want any of that, so he just turned and left. And it's just goes to show, if you really got that determination and that, if you got the motivation to do something, you can really surprise some people you shouldn't be able to. So
you know, it's interesting you say that, because much like the farmer, I'm here with my pitchfork today, less than 24 hours away from what we will find out to be the result of this man. Whatever it may be, will be. C'est la vie, I guess, is a saying people could say at this moment in time. But Kuva, I like that story. And Man City may be this heavily trained, heavily armored warrior, but we're just a farmer with a pitchfork. If you just got the look in your eye, maybe something crazy can happen. And that's what I've always said. Like I said this earlier in the week, Kuva, that even if it's a 1 in 100 chance or 1 in a million chance, there's at least that little bit of chance mathematically. And if you know, the football gods, so to speak, bless us on the day, so be it. Let's welcome it. Let's see what we can do. But there's ways.
By luck or design, we do have a Sonny up front. You get the ball on the end of his foot in the penalty area, he's going to score goals.
No, that's a very good point. I'm just going to take this hat off because it's actually hurting my forehead. I thought it would help me with the headphones, but it actually does not. But Kuva, I like that story. I like that, and I like to see all the people. Oh,
what's happening?
Thank you, Mike Doss. Does that sound better now? He said he called it. I was
a bit lower. Yeah.
No, I was not using the correct mic input. So I did that first 9 minutes with the microphone in my laptop.
It sounded okay to me.
Well, thank you, Mike Doss. Maybe just because you're listening on your computer audio, but I think for headphone users, it might sound a little different.
Oh,
but
could be.
Either way, I believe the microphone is working now. Mike says yes. Thank you, Mike. He says your StreamYard's using, yeah, not great, but big up, everybody. Let me see. Did I miss it? Jacob, it sounds like the sound is going through. Thank you, Mike. Hey, Mike, let me know twice. First of all, Dubs in the chat for Mike for letting me know. I know I had to skip ahead in the chat for that, but thank you. I'm glad I didn't go the entire show with using the wrong microphone, because then it would be like, why did I even spend money on this microphone? Much like, why did we even spend money on Brennan Johnson if he's a right winger and he's not going to play on the right? Now, Kuva, maybe we can find a way, any way. Is there any way Brennan Johnson can play on the right and then get something out of either a Ange, Aki, whoever they decide to, Vardiol, whoever they decide to throw out there at left back? Do you have any faith in Brennan Johnson? Was my basic question.
Yeah, I think so. It's just a question of when. I mean, he's still finding his way. He's settling in. He's new team for him, new location. It takes a little bit of time. I think I think this is a perfect opportunity to have a look at some of the players where you've got question marks over them and just say, you know what, go out and just show what you can do. Just have a bit of fun with it and play with a smile on your face. Have a go at them and see if you can surprise a few of them. Brennan Johnson, great example of that. He has got the pace to hurt players. We haven't seen it as much as we would have liked, but we have seen glimpses of it. And he has chipped in with some goal mouth action, whether he's creating it or getting it himself. I think there's a few goals in him at some point. We're not seeing quite that kind of finishing that he offered at times at Forest.
You know what's funny is his first moment in which I saw him wearing the Spurs 22 running down the right-hand side. He was offside, but his first moment in the Spurs shirt, he went and got himself the goal. But he was offside, and they called it back. I think it was a substitute appearance. Can't even remember who it was against. But he came on immediately and got a goal, and I was just like, wow, maybe this kid can be something special. And, you know, that typically happens when players like even Bergwijn comes on his debut, scores a goal versus Man City. Hey, is there a chance we could have someone getting a debut goal? Not a debut goal, but maybe a debut or a first goal on their Spurs account. Do you think anyone can open their Spurs account is what I'm trying to... I know I'm grasping at straws. I feel like I don't even believe myself at this rate. Like, who can score? Can we maybe score? I'm pulling a string.
Maybe Doris, the tea lady, will get in on the action and get their name on the score sheet. Yeah, I mean, we basically just got to go with what we've got and hope for the best. Yeah, maybe we're going to get people opening their account for the season. Let's face it, start of the season, we were putting that as a strength for the team, that we were getting goals from all over. It was all different players popping up with them. But some of those players you fancy to get it, Van der Ven getting a winner at Luton, for example, Romero popping up with a goal, a doggy, perhaps a doggy. He's not really scoring or assisting too much since the start of the season. So perhaps he's due something. You just can't tell. I mean, City do concede a few goals. They're not invulnerable. So
they gave 4 to Chelsea.
Yeah,
they gave 4 to Chelsea, and apparently Chelsea can't score unless it's versus us or City. So maybe there are some holes in some avenues in which we can exploit. But that's my hope anyway. You know, I was looking at their recent run of form. I'm just going to rattle off some numbers of I'm going to say the club and how many they scored. And this is like, I guess, their last, 5 or 10 matches. So in Champions League, Leipzig scored 1. Arsenal scored 1 and beat them. They scored 0. Versus Brighton scored 1. Young Boys also scored versus them. That's also in the Champions League. United did not score versus them. Bournemouth, in a 6-1 thrashing, we're able to get 1 goal off. So, hey, all these 6-0s I'm seeing, Scott M, I see you in the house. Big up, Scott M. Shout out all the YouTube chat members. But Bournemouth got 1. So even if you say it's going to be a 6-0, I think you need to reassess. I think you need to relook into your predictions, because Bournemouth scored 1. Young Boys on the return fixture did not score versus them. Chelsea, however, put 4 past them. Liverpool with 1. Leipzig with 2 in the first half, and then they did come back. And they literally did to Leipzig in the Champions League, Kuva, what they did to us last year. We were up 2 goals at halftime thinking, nice, let's just ride this out. And then we all know what happened. But big up Roadman's in the house, his Waffle Merchant Spuds fans. And Spurs don't win trophies and never will. Enjoy Harry Winks. I see you as your best player. My manager could not wait to get rid of him, so enjoy yourself. Thank you for James Madison. I will say that as well. I see you're a Leicester fan, so thank you for James Madison. Big up Janice, Ronnie. I'm just going to rattle off a few names here. Vitruvius is in the house. David Calvino, how are you doing? Always good to see some YouTube chat members in the house. Scott M, Jason Bell, how are you doing? Terry Collins, Corvo, Craig the Gecko Man. Big up Jason Bell every single time. Wayne Bonner. I ain't seen Wayne Bonner in a minute. Hang on. Wayne Bonner says, sup, everyone. Hope you're all well and having a great weekend. Should be a cracking game of football against City. Think we will draw 3-3 or lose 1-3. Interesting.
Nice idea. 3-3. Why not?
And it also coincides with my theory that we will at least get a goal. You can't.
We need some crazy things to happen in the game, but crazy things do happen. It's football.
Big up Ren, big up Adrian Schroka, Bob Down Under. I see Spurs GZTV. Big up. And of course, big up Nita R, Cursor, Chelsea Blue and Blue. Nick Brown, another YouTube chat member, says, hi, Jacob. I'm hoping to at least get a draw and see a great goal from Sonny. Now, we know Sonny does love a goal versus old bald-headed man. What's his name? Fraudiola is what he's not actually a fraud. He's a very great coach. I'm just... I think in the week building up to a game, I look at a lot of their names and I'm just like, how can I be very immature and very, how can I try and take them down a peg here on United Spurs of America? Because we need all the help we can get. And if my energy can provide anything to help make them feel like we get... Kuva, I feel like I've been waffling this stream. I'm going to be honest.
You had an interesting start. I thought
this is one of my worst starts to a stream, and also I feel like every time I'm trying to pull, because normally the like reasonings and the things, they all just they naturally manifest in my head, and I'm like, you know what? I feel like this is gonna happen. I feel like a lot of those things that say that week in week out are saying we're gonna not have a good time tomorrow. Now, I've pondered the idea of doing a watch along because I was like, maybe we can shock the world. But as I talk about it, as I'm actually quite worried still. No Christian Romero. We're gonna have Ben Davies, Emerson Royale at our center backs again, because Ange Postecoglou did say no to Eric Dyer. They said, do you want some Eric Dyer in your life? And he said no. So that's hopeful.
And we have seen teams capable of stopping Erling Haaland. You just have to stop the ball arriving at his feet. That's the trouble. Can we do that? If we can do that, we might be able to keep them out, but it's going to be a tough ask.
I see the chat loves me tonight. Big up, chat. Big up, Nate. Big up. I'm not rattled. I'm just like, how can we actually get this dub? Because when I look, I really feel like I had a lot of hope until I saw what Leipzig happened to them. And I was like, this feels too familiar. You know what I mean? They literally did to Leipzig what they did to us last season. And I'm like, I never can predict a Spurs loss. Maybe that's shitty of me as a content creator. Maybe that's I can't predict a loss, but I don't know how to predict a win or a draw. It's definitely not a win, but is there any, Kuva, give me some ground to stand on here. I feel like I'm on lily pads in the middle of a pond, just trying to stay up with reasonings. Do you got anything for me? Help me here.
We were talking before the show started, weren't we? And I said, talking about the Spurs are basically the condemned man. It's the night before the gallows, and we're hoping for some friends to come and rescue us, but there aren't any. They're all injured or they're suspended. So what are we going to do? We've got to hope maybe the rope breaks or there's some sort of freak of nature happens. Who knows? Maybe they get some key injuries very early on or something. Perhaps there's some horrendous VAR decision that upsets them and there's like maybe there's a punch-up. They get a few players sent off. Bring them down to 9 aside and have a brawl for 90 minutes. That could be fun. If we just play toe to toe and just don't play aggressively and let them play football, they're going to tear us apart. That's no doubt about it. So we've got to upset them one way or another, whether it's with help from dodgy VAR decisions or fighting them, literally fighting them. I don't know. But there's something there. Let's face it, we have got some players who are capable of scoring a goal, even though we've been struggling with putting the ball away recently. You just have to hope those, that all the planets align at the right time. And we can ignore all those injuries and all those suspensions that have absolutely derailed our season and go into the Lions' den in their backyard and get a result. But you know what? Nobody expected us to any time in the last few years. And we have beaten them more times in the Premier League than any other team.
There we go, Kuva.
We've also we're tied with Liverpool, having scored 19 goals against them. No other team scored that many.
I have a book. What a perfect segue there, Kuva. I actually have a bookmark about it. Our record. This obviously is not my template. This is from the Premier League. They tweeted this. Maybe I need to just look through my bookmarks and start getting hyped up about the game again. Because
also off the top of my head, there's another one as well. Last 2 seasons, it's only us and Brentford that have gone to the Etihad and won.
Okay.
So
very nice.
If anybody's going to pull off something unlikely there, it's probably us. But I think this is more unlikely than ever. We're in miracle territory needed here now. So I'm just looking for it. Let's go out there and see if we can play a bit of Ange style football for periods of the game. That will do. That will literally do me. And if we're going to get beaten, we're going to get beaten. I think we're going to run out of steam as well. That's going to hurt because they'll be able to bring on fresh legs that are quality players, whereas we're going to be scraping around thinking if we got another goalkeeper we can put on the bench, or Bobby K and I were doing a team selection last night, and we're putting things like an orange
over on Three Spurs Boys. It will be in
Yeah.
the title. Over on Three Spurs Boys.
Brian Hill, who's his replacement, a bucket of salt water maybe, or somebody out of the stands. We just haven't got the players now. We've had a thin squad to start with. We needed a miracle to get something out of the season and keep any sort of hope of a title challenge alive. Didn't happen. We failed spectacularly there. This is the end of that little really bad period as far as I'm concerned, because at least after this match, Romero's back. That's going to help the defense.
Hey.
So
Basuma will be back for this match. Big dog Basum Boss. Can we see? Do you think Basuma will be back, or it's going to be
Basumi? If that break means we see the Basuma that was a 9 out of 10 player at the start of the season, rather than the 6 out of 10 player that we've seen recently, that'll be a good thing as well. Trouble is, you look at their midfield and it's a bit scary, even without De Bruyne. You look at the Rodri there holding everything together, and Bernardo Silva is absolutely one of my favourite players in the Premier League. I think he's a wonderful player. You look at the way Doku's playing; it's just tearing teams apart. Alvarez, what a player as well, and Phil Foden. I mean, for me, I'm looking for the little things can take from the game already. One of them for me is I can't wait to see how Udogie fares against Phil Foden and the possibility of Silva, Alvarez, or even Kyle Walker backing them up coming down that flank, because Udogie is going to have Brian Hill ahead of him most likely, and he's not going to help out defensively. It's kind of like having a shield made out of a thin bit of rice paper. It's not good. So how can Udogie handle that? That's going to be a big test for him, and he's such a young player. I'm not putting any pressure on him, but let's see what he can do. We need these sort of heroic performances from several players to get anything out of this. It's very unlikely, but still possible.
I was looking to see because this predicted lineup from SofaScore is saying that Papa Matasar should get the start, but I don't know that he said he was ready to go. Did you hear anything? Did anyone say anything that you heard of?
I'm kind of assuming that he's still injured. He was a big doubt. So I think if he's a doubt, he probably got to start him rather than having him as a substitute and then coming on and then getting injured again. Because then you've wasted one of your choices, haven't you? So we're in trouble anyway. The way we play.
Spurs says he's out. So my assumption is, like, what I would change from this lineup personally is put Kulusevski back where he played last week. I actually liked where he was last week. Kulusevski, I thought he was kind of impressive in that same role. So big up Darren Wimbledon, big up Faisal SOF. I see NCCP in the house. Big up, how you doing? SAR is out till New Year, says Richie B. I didn't know the whole New Year. I just thought that is actually depressing. Did not see anything on that. Richie B, not gonna say you're wrong, but I hope you are. And Vitruvius, I hope you were correct that City are in a slump. I thought that, and then this first half versus RB Leipzig, I'm like, man, maybe we can go ahead and get at them if we go ahead. And then I saw what they did to them in the second half of that match, and I was like, wow, this is the City that once they're wanting to do exactly what they just did, I don't know that we could stop them.
I think you
out
look
until
at
New Year, another hamstring. Good morning.
I think you look at those City lineups in the past few games, and it doesn't matter who they picked as in the starting 11, and you compare it to our current starting 11, it's very difficult to get any of our players into their side. Very difficult. Even with complete bias towards Sonny and things like that, you say, oh yeah, he could probably play, instead of somebody to go up front with Haaland, but no, you're really struggling. I think they've just got a fantastic team.
That's
This is
scary.
really up against it.
It's a little scary.
It is. It is.
That's why I guess when the first like 20 minutes of the show, I was like, Kuva, I'm really struggling to find things to like hinge my hopes upon, or like put a stake in and say like, oh, we can use this part. I'm a little nervous. Yves Bissouma will be back. Thank you. But Ben Davies, Emerson Royale, and Pedro Porro, I don't have a lot of hope that defensively that's going to be something we can rely on. Now this is what I've said on as far as the other channels I've gone on when I've talked about this matchup coming up, that I would prefer Emerson Royale in the position over Eric Dyer. I think that our only hope here, Kuva, is really just shoot more than we get shot, right? Let's just keep putting shots up. If we try to play our style for as long as we can, that alleviates as much pressure as possible that could get into the back line. Because if we're trying to sit back and defend, or even operate in some sort of shape of allowing them to bring the pressure to us, I think that defensively we're going to fall short, because we know that we don't even have a center back out there. And if we did put a center back out there, you don't want to see that center back out there.
Absolutely. I think the most important thing for us is we are trying to implement a new way of playing the game from the last few seasons. So we have to stick by it through thick and thin. This is going to be a real test of that. We saw against Villa that we can still do that kind of aggressive pressing football and some slick passing at times. It didn't manage it for the whole match, but we managed it for a large chunk of it, and we were looking good. We have to keep it going right now. You can't just suddenly decide, oh, we'll abandon all of our footballing principles just because it's going to be tough in the next game. This is when you double down on it. You say, this is the way we want to play. We've got to find a way. It's challenging the players to step up to the plate, as they say. And I think that's what Ange is all about as well. Yeah, there we go. We're saying it, tested in the toughest of times, whenever you believe in it. If it doesn't get tested when things are going well, that's quite right. Easy when it's when things are going well. You do whatever you like. Remember when
I was going around everywhere saying, talk to me nicely, because they had to at that moment in time. And now people are not talking to me nicely, Kuva, and I don't know what to say to them.
Shrug it off.
Yeah, whatever.
Shrug it off.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Again, it's the Ange way. Stick to your guns.
Yeah.
You come through in the end. You come through in the end. Just take little receipts of all these comments, and then when we do turn the corner, just remind them of it. That's the way to do it.
You know, I think in times of need, when I'm looking for something, the more that I'm starting to read and poke through some of these bookmarked Ange quotes that I didn't do yesterday on yesterday's show, because I did have to cancel that. Apologies again. But I start to feel like, you know what? This is just part of our journey. He says, Ange Postecoglou here says, you've got to be prepared that in the tough times when you get scrutinized, you got to be prepared for that. You got to take that. You got to show some backbone. That's the way forward for us. He is affirming all the things that I go around and bang my chest about, that it doesn't matter who we got back there. We're not going to cater to anyone's ineptitude. We're going to play our brand. And if they can't keep up, they got to get the fuck out, and they will eventually. This is just one window with Ange Postecoglou. So my hope is that through some more windows, eventually we'll have the players in which Ange can say, yes, I can rely on them, or that is someone that we should bring in when we have suspensions.
As they always said, a team is supposed to reflect the will of the manager. This team has to do what he wants. If they're not good enough for that, we've got to get rid of them and get players that can. So, like I said, this is not a time to start backtracking and thinking, oh, we better play defensively at City. Oh, we did it before and got away with it, therefore it'll work again. No, you want to have this style of football come to fruition. You do it at the most difficult of times, and you believe in it. We saw it against Chelsea, down to 9 men, and you could see the 9 men that were on the pitch would still believe in it. They were going for the Ange style. There are little positives there, even when terrible results happen. There's still been some positives, except for the Wolves game. I'd say the Wolves game for me was probably the most disappointing in this little bad run, because we just did not play football very well at all. Otherwise, take the rough with the smooth. Yeah, it's difficult times. This is the hardest game we're going to play before Christmas. That's another way of looking at it as well. So I think a nice little North London derby, well, nice little London derby, I should say, against West Ham coming up. We'll have the likes of Romero back. I think that'll be a lot more tasty. I think we've got some good times ahead. This is just seeing off the storm at the moment. We've reached the we're cruising through the eye of the storm overnight. We're back into the worst of it tomorrow, and then we'll be heading our way out. And there'll be some nice calm water on the way. We'll make our own waves then.
With the win today, Newcastle officially jump us in the table, by the way, Kuva. I know it is December, so I can't actually use the nomenclature I've been using, which was we don't look at the table in November, Kuva, because, oh, look at that thumbs up. There's a reminder for everyone. Hit that like if you have not already. It's absolutely free. Subscribe to the channel, and make sure you subscribe to Three Spurs Boys. It is tagged in the title of this video, so if you're live or on playback, go subscribe to that channel. Let's help get that channel to 1K ASAP. But keep getting your votes in the poll as well. I see 52 votes, and there's over 80 of y'all across all three platforms. So wherever you're watching, make sure you're liking, subscribing, following, all that good stuff. Big up Ellie. I see Donovan in the house. Big up Ellie and Donovan. SOF. Stephen Collins, how you doing? Yanis Rulis says proper planning and preparation prevents piss poor performance. The 7 Ps. Yanis, do you remember, or maybe this is more of a term, but I came on here early, like years ago, Kuva, and I said, my stepdad taught me about the 5 Ps of life, and that's proper planning prevents poor performance. Now, is this a match where, regardless, like any level of planning, can we just plan so efficiently that we get something out of this, or is there absolutely zero because there's no amount of planning that can solve this?
There's limitations to that, isn't there? You can take a kindergarten group and expect to go and win with them just because you've prepared. Yeah, it's. I think we will do the best we can. We'll just see it. I think Ange will have them prepared. They'll all know what they're supposed to be doing. It then comes down to individual performances. We need some of those 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 performances tomorrow. If we get that, we've got a chance of an upset. But even if we do get it, we've also got to be realistic enough to realise we are going to struggle to maintain that kind of football for 90 minutes as well. We do run out of steam in games. And then you look at the bench, and that's even thinner than it was.
Let me ask you about that. That's a point that I do want to talk about. I didn't actually necessarily plan on talking about that, but you brought up that we fade after time, and that I agree. You look at that Aston Villa match, and we really started to fade away there, and it was like these forwards can't keep getting forward in this sense, and it almost is that a thing of Ange is asking these players to do too much all at once. Maybe we need to pepper in some, hey, let's not press right now. Let's take this one, like press every other possession, or what do you think?
I think you stick with it. This is what I'm talking about, where if you've got a style you want to implement, you have got to stick with it 100%. So if we're running players into the ground at the moment and they're struggling to, maintain fitness for the whole 90, keep going. They will get there in the end. The trouble is we don't have those fresh legs to come on. That makes all the difference. If we've got a full squad to pick from, players get tired and we can bring 5 players on, no problem. No problem. Right now, very difficult to, but I don't believe you should sacrifice your style of football for anything. I've always believed that. I don't even believe in time wasting or arguing with the referee. Pointless stuff for me. Get on with the game. Attack.
You don't think the referee could use a little, hey, guy?
could use a massive brown envelope, mate. But
hey, guy.
Maybe that's the way to do it. Hey, we'll just, if everybody's getting done for FFP, let's just go and bribe the officials. That'll work.
Yeah, maybe that'll work. Big up Christoph Cavalet says Lo Celso and Basuma bossed Barcelona in preseason. We did in the first half, right? Because I remember Lamine Yamal coming on, and he's like, "Hey, I just finished my homework, Dad. Can I go play?" And they allowed the kids to run free, and he did a damage to us. And I was like,
"What a talent that was! What a talent!"
How fortunate are we to say we got to see this kid The flower had just begun to start blossoming for the sun, and we got to see the precipice of that. That's kind of special in a way. But he did dismantle us when he came on the pitch. Lamine Yamal, the damn little kid. Go do your homework. Go to your room, Lamine Yamal. I remember that's how I felt. I was like, who is this little kid? They brought him on. He looked about 12. And I looked, I was like, oh, he's 15 turning 16. How fantastic. And he made a fool out of everyone who played on that left-hand side for us. And so it was quite fun to see. But
yeah, they've done well with a few of those little youngsters getting on the pitch at times, haven't they? There was a little Lionel Messi, I think his name was. Yeah,
that little shaggy-haired bastard. Yeah, I remember him.
The one that's kept stealing the Ballon d'Or from Ronaldo.
He was very good against regular.
That's what reputation and playing style does for you.
Yeah.
You can attract that kind of player. Barcelona are prepared to give him a chance as well. I'd love to see that sort of thing. Obviously, we're not going to be saying, "Oh yeah, we'll definitely get the next Messi," but let's have that kind of attitude that Dortmund and Ajax do. Prepared to let players come in as youngsters and develop with a team. If you have to sell them on at the end for a huge fee, I'm okay with that. We'll just go out and use that fee to buy three more like it and develop them. They're not all going to work out, but it's got to be a way forward for us. We've got to, at the moment, I accept that we're not going to be going out and splurging £500 million on, a brand new squad for Ange in the summer. It's just not going to happen, is it? So we've got to go careful. We've got to pick our incomings very sensibly and stick within the budget that's being set for us by the chairman. That is unfortunately the reality at the moment. Might not be happy about it, but that's the way it works. Probably better that way at the moment than perhaps facing 100 and however many charges it is City it's facing. But then again,
115.
115. That's a lot of charges, isn't it? So
it's a handful. It's at least one handful. I know that much.
It is. I wonder how long they're. I wonder how long their very expensive lawyers will manage to keep that one on the back burner. 10
best
years.
Lawyers maybe? The best lawyers can stretch that for about 7 to 14 years, I'd say. Big up everybody in the house. There is officially over 80 of y'all across all 3 platforms. Big up everybody who is tapping in with us for the preview. Keep letting me know. The likes, etc. Sorry, can't like any video. Hey, Christoph, you hit me with a super chat. You don't have to like if you don't want. The super chat, you spent some money on. The like is free. So if you don't want to get a super chat, you can just hit that like, hit that subscribe. It goes a long way for the channel. I do have a nice little quote here from Pep Guardiola. I will say Guardiola today for this quote specifically, just because he says about Ange Postecoglou that, quote, he makes football a better place. I enjoy a lot their approach. All the Spurs fan can admit the impact has been quick. I think we would all agree with that. Do you think there could be any ounce of Pep, trying to say something nice to play mind games, or do you think they're like legitimately friends and they're going to be all kissy, smoochy? Because remember Mauricio Pochettino and Ange Postecoglou, it was supposed to be, who's this motherfucker here? This is my new Betty round the block. Don't look at old Betty Boop now. And they were hugging, smooching at halftime, full time before the match. I was like, what is this? The damn Italian dinner? The way they're grabbing each other's hands and hugging. And I was like,
I think it's just that mutual respect and admiration for playing football the right way. Play with an attacking sense of mindset and play some attractive football as well. Pochettino did it for us. Pep has done it all his career, both player and as manager. And I think when you've got that as the basis for how you want to play football, of course you're going to admire and show a bit of respect to the other people. It's. I think it's a genuine thing. I suppose you could argue, if it's really good mind games, you could be saying he's putting us at ease. He's putting Ange at ease, saying, I really enjoy your football. Let's, full sense of security. Go out and play that nice open attacking game. And then secretly he's thinking, we're going to rip them a new one if they play like that. That'll be something as well. But no, I think Pep's just genuinely a man that loves football, loves it played the right way. And I respect the hell out of him for that as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I mean, even as much as I want to say the seventh grade humor, Pep Fardiola, that's a comforting thing, you know. Bullies
Yeah,
they bully
yeah,
because they need some comfort, and I'm not saying I'm trying to bully Pep Guardiola, but some would argue he's the best manager ever. I would argue he's the best manager of my generation. You just look at the things he's been able to accomplish. Now, whatever degree you want to hold City to on what they've accomplished, the resume to me is something else because he has no say in whether his club played fair with the money. All he said was, "Here's my wish list," and if Daddy had to steal some for Walmart, he didn't have no. That wasn't on him. So I don't think it negatively affects his legacy at all, in my opinion. And
you're right. I mean, I'd like to say as well. If you take the Spurs hat off and the Spurs tinted glasses off for a moment, I could even say the same sort of things about somebody I shouldn't be able to, but Arsene Wenger at Arsenal. Some of the football they used to play, I just thought, wow, why isn't it us doing that? And you know, you've got to have, if you're a football fan, sometimes you just got to say, look, that's a great side. That I enjoy the way they play, even if it's your bitterest rival. You got to say sometimes you take your hat off. Remember, Ronaldinho going to the Bernabeu, destroying Real Madrid,
and then everyone applauded him.
Yeah, home fans applauding a Barcelona player.
Well, that guy was something else. I mean, honestly, he was absolutely something else. Not too many wingers like that nowadays. But that brings me on to a next great topic, Kuva, which is we lightly mentioned it, Jeremy Doku. Now, he's what I'm gonna say gonna create problems for us a long time. He's got a lot of times. I'll big up Ellie with the super chat real quick. I will divert what I'm talking about here. Ellie says, "You and I go a long way back, Jacob. From year start, didn't have a blast." And can't wait to celebrate your success as you're an enigma, a great entertainer. Big up, Ellie. Apologies. Ellie, of course, did receive Kuva the same text that I sent to you and some others, which was, hey, I got this show, which I was just starting to plan out doing like a 3K celebration show, which shout out Flawless from Sarcasm City TV. We were playing games one night. And he was like, bro, you need to do a 3K celebration. I was like, I don't really see like 3K, like, I feel great about it inside, but like to have a whole show being like, oh yeah, I got 3K seems a little like farting in my cup and smelling it, if you know what I mean. And
hey, depends what you've been eating, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like he said, you have to take pride in all the accomplishments and all the milestones, no matter how big or small. So I was like, you know what? I like that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna and so Flawless. He's a great human being. So he convinced me. So Ellie, big up and thank you for the second super chat of the day. We do go way back a long time. Ellie, I think you were a subscriber of the channel before I even had 100 subscribers on this channel. So Ellie, you were pretty much family. When we talk about the Mount Rushmore of United Spurs of America, there's definitely Ellie's face in there. So big up, Ellie. Thank you so much for the super chat as well. Bob Down Under says, Jacob, did I hear you doubt Ange and suggest Conte at the end of games? Stay away from Hassam. Hassam is hilarious. Shout out, This Is Football. But what I would say is I didn't doubt Ange. I just... me personally, because hey, there's a thumbs up again, big up the thumbs up. I just personally feel like I would rather not saying if you don't do what Ange did that you have to do a Conte. Conte and Tuchel was a little too much to the extreme. Now Conte was provoked in that manner, so I do defend Conte in that instance against Tuchel, the absolute skeletor of a manager. But I would just more robotic, less hug. I think Pochettino was really playing it up. I blame more Poch because at one moment I felt like Ange was trying to be like, okay, like here we go, and Poch was like, no, you get in here, and he grabbed the back of his neck like he was his missus, and they were at the carnival or something. He's guiding her through. This is where the next games we're gonna play. Look, Bob, I don't ever doubt Ange in that manner. I do blame Pochettino for that. I just less kissy smoochies. Do the kissy and smoochies after we beat him, but we didn't do any of that. But hey, maybe. I didn't dwell on it, and I definitely don't doubt. But Big Up Ellie also says, 3K, I'm proud of you, not how many subscribers you have. Oh, well, thank you for that. And hey, you've been here for the entire journey. And if everyone unsubscribed tomorrow, I know Ellie would still be here. So big up. Big up to that. I do got some more quotes that I want to get through. And shout out everybody in the chat and everybody across all platforms. Thank you for being here. Happy Saturday evening, wherever you may be tuning in, or Sunday morning for those of you in Australia. If you are down under, good morning. Happy Sunday. It is the last day of your weekend, unfortunately, so you got to go back to work. But, you know, don't want to remind you of that. We have Spurs to look forward to. How many hours? Almost 12 hours away. We are approaching, it was 17 hours and some change, 18 hours and some change away until kickoff. For me, Kuva, the blood really starts boiling 24 hours within. So we have already been within the 24 hours. I'm feeling like, okay, I'm starting to build up some hope. The more we do the show, the more I'm starting to, you know what? Let's just keep reading some more Ange Postecoglou quotes. If you need something that gives you some kind of hope, there is more to this quote, but I liked it specifically for how cold it comes across. But he did obviously elaborate on this. But I love the fact that people were tweeting Ange Postecoglou on if he feels the need to bring Eric Dyer back in to help combat Holland in the air. He said no. And I think that that's great that they quoted it that way. So that way, when he looks at his phone and he sees, what did they say about Eric Dyer? It's no. The same things he's been told, I'm assuming. What do you think Ange said to him? You think he's just like, bro, you're just done. I'd rather play anybody than you.
It's the way the question's worded, though, isn't it? That he needs to bring him back. No, he doesn't. Of course he doesn't. He's got options. So that's the way he feels.
Oh, a little semantics exit route? Is that what we were saying?
Maybe.
Lost in translation?
He's got a bit annoyed with the question because it's a kind of a leading question. It's like, you know, do you want to, can you just condemn Eric Dyer for me here on air?
So you know what's funny about this, Kuva? Shout out Jack Kanicki with the Irish Hotspur. We were talking on Twitter about this because I'm convinced that was Alistair Gold who asked the question. And it was the final question of everything. And then Ali was like, one more question for me. And I'm like, okay, it's Ali. Let's see what he was. You know my guy, Eric Dyer. Is there any way that we could find a way for Eric Dyer to crack into this? It was like he was trying to find any way. And I'm convinced Eric Dyer is his inside source. I'm convinced of it. The Harry Winks, Eric Dyer, that little leadership group. And now he's like, shit, Kane's gone. Dyer's gone. Or soon to be. Winks is gone. Doherty's gone. You know, is this a theory? Tinfoil hat time? I don't know. Is it?
Well, there is a history of journalists getting on well with players in the past. So you never know. Might be something to it, but I'd like to think when we're coming back to this blunt response about Eric Dyer.
I do have the rest of the elaboration here, so just to clarify what he said. Alaikum salam, Chelsea 101. Good to see you here. So the full quote on Ange Postecoglou, if he's tempted to bring Eric Dyer back into the team because of his height. No. I love that. Put the hard period. You see that period right there? That's why I love just stop that sentence right there. One word sentence sends a whole bunch of words to you. He says, no. I thought it was one aspect where we struggled last week, maybe around set pieces. To be fair, Villa are very good at them. Overall, I thought our defending was actually quite good. We were disappointed with the second goal more than the first goal. Not just the back four, but defensively, we were really passive in that 5 to 10 minute spell, which we paid a price for. That's more of a collective thing. They haven't grown. They're all the same height as last week. We tried to feed them some different stuff, but we'll go with that. So I think he put a little bit of a joke there saying, hey, the guys who played still are the same height. We did try to feed them some growth feeder, but they did not get any taller. So he's kind of joking. Seems like he's a little lighthearted. He's not taking it too same old Ange. Doesn't matter. He's going up against a monster truck or dumpster truck or just a toy truck. It seems to be the same spirited Ange, and I like to see that because I don't want to see him switch up now that the temperatures change. You know what I mean?
It's the same argument as playing the high line and the very aggressive press. The reason the high line works is because you're putting pressure on the ball and you're stopping the opposition from finding the pass. So I think the same that applies here when it comes to stopping Haaland. The answer isn't to put Eric Dyer in and allow Man City to sling the crosses in at will. you've got to get out there, work hard, and stop them crossing the ball in. You cut off his supply, he's just a big lump that's running around a bit. Same as Eric Dyer. Perhaps that's the bit for comedy value. Play Dyer anyway and tell him to man mark him. And they can just go around playing patty cake all the way through the game because there's nothing else to do. No, I think Ange's. I think that's very much what he's alluding to. It's the way the team performs. You've got to cut out the opposition having their way with everything. You can't just allow them time on the ball, pick out passes. If you do that with Man City, you're dead in the water. Unless you've got exceptional central defenders and goalkeeper.
Mike Doss said this, Kuva. He says, I'm just going to say it. If you play a low block counter ball tomorrow, you have a chance of winning, which is technically what we used to do with Jose, Nuno, Conte, whenever we did get results versus them in most recent history. He says, if you go toe-to-toe, you will die harshly. Now, I have heard on other channels people be saying the same, or along the same lines of, if you go there and you play your brand of football, you're going to get skinned 4-1, 6-1, 7-1 type things. Now, I was told something similar, but to a much lesser degree, about when we go to the Emirates versus Arsenal. If we play our brand versus Arsenal, they're going to tear us apart 4-1. So the same people who said that are the same people, not saying you said that, Mike Doss, but Hassam, I will drop his name from This Is Football, shout him out. He did say, if you go to the Emirates and you play your brand of football, they will open you up 4-1. You can mark my words, and obviously he was wrong. But people are still saying that. Do you think that there's a chance we could get something out of this? Because, well, I mean, the squad was a lot different versus Arsenal, right? So we could say if it was that squad, maybe our hopes as far as going into the Etihad would be a little bit higher. Our hopes may be higher if we had our full starting 11, but where we're at now is a lot different to where we were when we were with our starting 11 versus Arsenal. So do you think there's any way we play our brand that we just prove these people wrong again? Because we have, granted, again, we were with better players.
Easy for me. If results are entirely down to a system of play, then every game's going to finish 0-0 because the other team will cancel each other out. Nothing had ever happened. The reason you get results at the end of the day is performance. It doesn't matter what sort of system you play, as long as it's like within reason. Like you don't play 11 players as a number 9, but if you're going to play within reason, it's down to the individual performance. If you play very aggressively and take the game to City, you could get something. If you've got to ride your luck, of course you have. I think it was Crystal Palace went up there a few seasons back. Nobody would have thought Crystal Palace could do anything, but they attacked them. They managed to get under City's skin, really upset them. Very aggressive with it, knocked them out of their rhythm. And they were playing a lot of the game in City's half. It was a really unexpected game. It comes down to whatever you choose to do it well. And do it collectively well as individually well. If we got players turn up and they're not performing, we're going to get beaten. Doesn't matter. You could play low block or not, you're still getting beaten. If your goalkeeper's not on form, you're getting beaten. If your central defenders aren't on form, you're going to keep creating the chances. Your goalkeeper can have a blinder and he's still going to get beaten. But you go there, do your job, know your system of play it to the best of your ability, and even beyond what you've managed before, that's when you start dreaming about coming away with these miracle results. They've happened in the past. I'm not saying it's going to tomorrow, but I'm not going to rule it out either. I've seen too many times over the years where totally unfancied team has played the pants off the bigger side. Mostly it used to be happen in the cup, we'd see it. FA Cup in particular, with all the giant killings and famous results like that. And every dog has its day. At the moment, we're so low on players, we'll practically have to play dogs. So,
Chewy, you hear that? Yeah, Chewy's here. Chewy, you hear that?
At least there's more legs on the pitch, isn't it? That would help.
That would help. More legs, more chances to block shots. Big up Adrian Chia coming in with the super chat. Says stay moist, Jay. That's paying out my PlayStation username is John Stay Moist. So little homage there. Big up says greetings from Asia. Love the EAFC stream. Big up Adrian Chia. Love that you like it. I did used to solely stream it to Jacob TV, the secondary channel, but then I was like, you know what? Why not? It was international break. I was like, let's just do some FIFA streams on, excuse me, EAFC streams on the channel because why not? Um, Big up Drunk Vigo in the house. I know some people are like, ban Drunk Vigo. He's talking too much. He's my number one hater, but also my no. I think he loves me the most out of anyone else because every show I do, Drunk Vigo is here harassing me, hitting a like. I'm sure Drunk Vigo. I know you're hitting a like regardless. So, also slightly acts as a manager, goes on to other channels and swarms their chat with "Get Jacob on your channel, get Jacob on your channel." So hey, working as my promo guy as well. So big up Drunk Vigo, number one hater slash
Yeah,
like
he's a pain in the ass, but he's my kind of pain in the ass.
yeah.
I
There's a
like him.
thin line between love and hate. You know what I mean? And he dances
Yeah,
on both sides, I would say. So big up for that. Look, this quote though about Eric Dyer does give me hope that we will start Emerson Royale and Ben Davies. Now, I say hope because there's no other option except really Eric Dyer, Dorrington. When then we start really diving deep, Brooks Lyons Foster. I think he plays left-sided left back or something in the academy. Like we're really drawing thin at that point, and I think Dyer would enter before one of them. Do you see a world in which he just says this and he starts Eric Dyer anyway, just to throw Pep? Because now Pep's like, okay, we don't have to worry about Eric the Dyer there.
For me, Eric Dyer can only play in a team that's playing a low block, and you just have him in there to try and win as many headers as possible. We're not going to be doing that, so I think he's the wrong choice. There's just no way around it. Now, there have been players in the past. I'll say Matt Hummel's being a great example of it. Very slow player, but he could play high line because he was very aggressive with what he did and read the game well. So he'd preemptively go and win the ball. Eric Dyer drops back. And if you're going to play a high line and you haven't got pace and you drop back, that's a nightmare combination. That's why we always end up in trouble with him doing it. I'm not going to blame Eric Dyer for that. He's just not capable of doing something. It's silly to keep picking him and expect him to. Ange has clearly seen that and thought, we've already got Ben Davies there as a centre-back and he's slow. But at least have Emerson Royal in there with a little bit more pace, a little bit more athleticism to try and counter it. I think having a doggy back in the team is going to help an awful lot as well. Bit of recovery pace there. And Porro, despite the criticism he keeps getting, and he does still keep getting the criticism about his defending, his recovery pace and the amount of times he does get back and makes a challenge, it's vital for us. I think those fullback areas are going to get worked really hard tomorrow. I think that's probably where the game's going to get won and lost, because we can pack out the middle and make it very difficult to find any space. But City are great at getting the ball wide and putting it in from there. And if our fullbacks aren't up to it and they've got no help, even a doggy, if he's there by himself having to cover both, the likes of Phil Foden and Walker doubling up on him, perhaps Alvarez there, a little triangle, someone like Bernardo Silva joining in, it's going to struggle. Does Brian Hill offer him any protection there? I don't think so. So we got problems. This is a case of if we, by any chance, we get anything out of this game, we are going to have to ride our luck like never before. But hey, it's nice to have a gamble every now and then. If you don't throw your hat in the ring, you're never going to get anything.
I like that. You'll never get anything. Nita says, question, if Dyer plays for us tomorrow, how do you think you will do? Help us to draw? No, I think he will help them to at least get one, possibly two, at best, moments in which he helps them to score. Look, we are on an hour. We just went over an hour. Big up every single one of you that are hanging out with us tonight on this Saturday evening before what some may say is going to be a city massacre. Some may say could be an intriguing draw, but let's see what the poll is looking like with 72 votes at this juncture. 43% says City will dominate and win. Almost half of the people are saying the City's going to dominate and win. But it's do you want to have a guess
which one I voted? Do you want to have a guess of which one I voted for?
Spurs surprise the world and dominate.
Correct.
Yes, get in, because that is in second
It's
place
just
with 24%.
backs against the wall. The world's turned against us. Half of our fans are dating Ange. You know, it's all falling apart at the seams, and this is the kind of thing that just makes you believe in football. Is just come out with some kind of result here. And when I say some kind of result, even if we do lose it, if we just come out and show real fight and give them a total game, and you know, supposing we have those 20-30 minute periods even where we've created them a lot of problems for them, you get the luck going your way. Maybe Sonny gets a chance and puts it away, and they get 5 chances and miss all of them. These things can happen. So let's keep at it. Let's keep the positive attitude on the pitch, take the game to them, see what comes our way. You got to be brave sometimes, and when the chips are down, you got to come out fighting. So I think we talked about the Alamo in several shows, but this really is the Alamo tomorrow for me. I think we're gonna have to rewrite history there and hold the fort.
Look, if it's ever been an Alamo metaphor, it is now, Kuva, in which we have to drop the Alamo metaphor.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a tough one. Now I do have another quote here. So look, there's also been a big discussion here amongst the fans. And look, here's Mud FC says, we are down to 6th. Where are the could we fans at? The could we being the could we potentially challenge for the title. I think they're all still there. They're all still hanging out, you know, and gonna enjoy what the rest of the season has to offer. Look, we could win out the rest. This is just obviously a very far-fetched possibility, but a possibility nonetheless. We could win all the rest of our matches. We could lose all the rest of our matches. We don't know. So I'd rather go into it thinking that we would win all of them rather than we would lose all of them. Now, it's not that black and white, and we can look at it from a point of view of week by week. I'm looking at it week by week, and this week does not sound. Look at that little thumbs up, big up. Hit the like. I don't know how and why it keeps doing that, Kuva. I don't even do the thumbs up, and then it gives a thumbs up.
I think the thing about we are down to 6th, but you go back to that Chelsea game where the wheels fell off.
Yeah,
you look around the Spurs fan base. Tell me anybody that predicted that happening. All the 2 sendings off and injuries to main men in our team, all at the same time. I don't think anybody would have predicted that, but it's happened now. So
you know, what's funny is it was predicted.
I don't see why I should retroactively go back there and say, "Oh, I was wrong to think we were going to do well, and we had an outside chance of going for the title." I'll stick by what I said back then.
That starting 11 as well, because that I think that was a big reason why people were having hope, is because we were seeing something starting to build. James Madison's son, Van de Veen, Romero, Udogi, and Pedro Porro as these inverting fullbacks playing in these free roles, and Udogi even drifting into a second striker position at times, and Pedro Porro doing the same thing. And we were seeing things that A, were exciting, B, getting results, and C, something that myself as a fan, now, I never said, could we win the league? I always said, it's not impossible. Is it probable? Hell no. But just like I'm saying about this week, there is a chance. Now, it is a very small, minute chance, but however big that chance may or may not be, it is up to our players to go against that and get the result. And like you said about the samurai and the farmer, it's not about who's the most well adept or equipped for a battle. It is about who wants it more.
Exactly. Puncher's chance in boxing. You know when you're outclassed, but sometimes just land that one. That's all we need. We're just going to ride our luck, haven't we? If we do get beaten up along the way, we get beaten up along the way. But sometimes you can just get away with it. Just that one killer blow, and you've rode your way through the rest of it through skill, luck, determination, mistakes from the officials, whatever. You keep going. You keep going. If you don't dream big, you'll never get big.
I like that. I mean, you know the old saying, right? Aim for the stars, or aim for the moon, and maybe you'll land among the stars. I think it's the other way around, because scientifically, stars are further away.
This is true.
But let me go ahead and run through some more Ainge quotes before we do a predicted lineup and our score predictions, Kuva. Got a couple more quotes I want to run through here. Ange, so the reason why I wanted to bring this one up specifically was because this past week there's been much discussion about, like, there's both sides of the fans, the could we saying you just gotta trust and believe and hope, and then you got the other quote unquote realistic side that question Ainge, and then those who say oh, you can't question Ainge, just let him do his thing. And I like that he came out and he kind of found the middle ground. And this is kind of basically how I felt. Now, I'm not trying to be that guy, Kuva, and say everything that Ange Postecoglou comes out and says aligns with everything that I've thought and felt before he said it. But literally, legitimately, I'm saying 9 out of 10 quotes, I'm like, that is how I felt, and he just validated the way I felt about that situation. So the aforementioned situation with our fans saying this or that, and I feel like this is just really kind of how I felt about it as well. Says about himself, we need to be scrutinized, I need to be scrutinized, I need to be questioned. That's what tests my resolve. I ain't going to change, but bring it on. It doesn't just test me, it tests the players, it tests the club. How resolved are we about doing this? Look at all the top teams. They've all been through the process, through the tough times. Ange added,
and then it's this bit. This is where I'm at. This is entirely where I'm at.
I have a real strong belief in what I do and where the team is headed, and I am just not going to waver from it. In another quote, I don't have exactly pulled up in front of me, he goes on to say, I'm building this team to be successful. Not to be successful right now, but I'm building something to that effect. And I'm going to see if I can find it. But
there was the ones from earlier in the season where he's not looking at winning a trophy. He's looking at building a team that's trying to win trophies constantly, multiple trophies, season after season. That's what you're going to be aiming at, not just this one-off to, get rival fans off our back because we finally win something. No, create something that's going to dominate if you can. We're up against the likes of City, Newcastle coming up now, Liverpool, Arsenal, good teams as well. It's just going to be difficult, but put yourself in there with a chance of it. Why not? Chelsea are going to be on the way up as well, sooner or later. So that there's competition in this league. It's great.
They play Brighton this week, so that'll be a tough test for them.
Yeah,
yeah. Brighton.
But again, it all comes down to long-term vision. You don't falter from it. The moment he gives in and starts playing a defensive team, we've lost him as a manager. He's given into pressure.
And what's funny? You say that because I was listening to people talk about Erik ten Hag. They just lost today to Newcastle, and people were talking about Erik ten Hag, how he's like, I'm not trying to play the Ajax way. I'm not trying to play how I play. I'm trying to play the Man United way. And I find that really weird. Like, you're not water. You don't have to be malleable to whatever container you're in. You know what I'm saying? Like, the best thing about water is that it's whatever container you put it in, it takes that shape. But Ange Postecoglou is not a fucking water. You know what I'm saying? Ange Postecoglou is a man in his beliefs, has faith in his beliefs and confidence in his way that he will turn this thing around for us, this thing being the club and our trajectory. This isn't, for me, in the first season, something where I'm like, it's nut crunching time. And fans, rival fans, I've seen try to apply this pressure of, well, you have to be disappointed now if you don't make top 4 because of how you started. But it's just, the Spurs are always in this really weird juxtaposition where it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. And even if you find a third option, they're going to fuck you up about that one too. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I agree. Who cares what the rivals say? Oh, you ain't no trophies. Oh, this is their. I was on a stream yesterday and they were talking about standards. Well, this is why the standards of Tottenham Hotspur are this, and that's not the standards of big clubs. You have small club mentality, etc. And I was just like, bro, I don't care what you think. I don't care what you think our ambitions are. I know what my ambitions are. I have a relatively good idea of what Kuva's ambitions are. I have a relatively good idea of those Spurs fans I am connected with, and with the ones that I see doing things with action, i.e., the fans staying after Chelsea and clapping the club on. After we lost to Villa, the fans stayed behind and clapped the club on. We're not leaving. City are shoo-ins to win the damn league, and they can't even fill up their stadium. You know what I mean? And we have people staying after hours just to clap our club on after losses. Now they're trying to twist that into some kind of negative, that it's like, oh, look at these fans, they're happy with just playing good football, and that it's not about results. No, it's
Literally,
about
yeah,
what we see. It is about the budding of, like, we have been starting to plant seeds, and yes, most of these plants haven't even little popped up out of the ground, but there has been some, and we're like, look at that. There's a start of something there. There's a start of something over there, and to me, my experience is, I really feel like we are starting to lay the foundations of building this fucking garden. We just need to water it, give it sun, give it time, give it love. Plants work best if you talk to them, because you give them something they so require, which is CO2 or whatever it is that we emit that we can't breathe in, whatever that fucking scientific word is. But my point remains the same.
Even Pep, when he took over at Man City, first season, I think he finished fourth. We finished ahead of them, didn't we? So they struggled for a lot of that season.
Liverpool, same thing, right?
Yeah. Some of the players coming in, Jack Grealish, for example, Pep said he's going to need a year to get used to the way I want this team to play. He needs to fit into the team. He didn't just say, oh, we got Jack Grealish. Hang on, everyone, we've got to play a different way now, to accommodate him. No, you stick with what your vision is. And that's what all the great managers do. Of course, you get managers like Mourinho and Alex Ferguson as good as well, who can adapt on the fly, but they do have an idea of what they want to do in the first place and the sort of players they want and the kind of roles they want from them. It's not like wildly changing game to game. There's still an overall plan with parameters which they work within. So, we haven't found a suitable way of sustaining it so far, mostly down to those injuries and suspensions. But it's ruthlessly exposed how paper thin our squad is. So, of course,
we knew, but this is also something we knew, Kuva, was how paper thin this squad was. Even when we were top of the league on my birthday, and I'm shameless, having a great time, I said, just scratch the surface of this squad depth. An injury to 8 positions is what I said would dismantle this entire thing. And then we had a half of that go out at once. So it was not only the attack that in which we were like, if we are attacked, this is our weak spots. It was all those weak spots being attacked all at once, and half of them going down. So big up Adrian Chia with his second super chat of the evening. Big up Adrian Chia. Says pundits twisting Ange's commitment as being naive. Now, look, I don't think it's just pundits. I think it's rival fans finding any stick that they can beat Spurs with. We are top of the league. Oh, you got the weakest schedule. Oh, we got this result. Oh, you didn't deserve that result. Oh, you got this result. Oh, that one was lucky. Oh, this one was because that so-and-so made mistakes. I mean, I heard it all under the sun when we were winning. And now, when we're losing, I'm still hearing all under the sun. You can't play this way. You shouldn't play this way. You play this way, this is what's going to happen. You play that way, this is what's going to happen. I mean, again, I say the same thing. I'm like, I'm just glad none of these fucking people are the manager of our club. And we have Ange Postecoglou, who's like, I don't really give a shit what you think. I don't really care if people think it's naive. I don't really care if you think it's this, that, and the other. Because I'm going to do what I know is best. While I'm here, this is what I'm going to do. And I support the hell out of it, because I need it's such a rivals don't want us to have anything good. They're like, they don't deserve that thing to work, right? They want that thing to go bad because that's what they're used to. And no one likes the change, the turning of the tide, so to speak. It's a very uncomfortable thing for some people. And hey, whether it's
the argument that I hear so often, I'm so sick of it. It's so blinkered. It's like, we have a choice. Either we play winning football or attacking football. What happened to playing both at the same time? If it doesn't succeed at first, do it better. Don't change manager and go completely different style and expect instant success then. The very fact that we have now hired Conte and Mourinho at this club, and they both failed badly. At the end of the day, both failed. that should tell people that this is not a club that's going to be playing that way and getting any success out of it. The ones that have got closest to winning things, you'd say you've got to look at Pochettino. We were playing good football. Out the 60s side, great football. Super Spurs, world renowned for it. Back in the 80s, we were winning things because we had a midfield with Mickey Hazard, Ozzy Ardiles, Glenn Hoddle. They're stylish flair players with quality players. Played good football, attacking football. You've got to get you've got to stick with it. You've got to believe in it. If you're going to keep chopping and changing at every bad run of games, you're going nowhere. We'll just rinse and repeat the same cycle over and over again.
Yeah.
So, I've always stuck with this and will never change it. I will refuse to sacrifice my idea of attacking football, played on the ground, slick passing, attacking, free-flowing football, and do it well.
And even if you look at Aston Villa, there was exactly what you're talking about. It's a clip that's been going around, and I used it to say if Højbjerg doesn't take an extra touch there, Sonny's not offside, and that goal stands. It's where Sonny receives a beautiful through ball from Højbjerg, picks up the ball, drives it into the box off his right foot, curls it around the keeper into the far post. Beautiful, Sonny-esque, typical type of goal, and it was ruled off because of offsides, and it was offsides. But the way we built up from the back and just boom, 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 pow, pow, run, 1-2 here, 1-2 there. Next thing you know, if sham bam, thank you, ma'am, we got a goal. But it just happened to be offside by Cricket's dick, and that's fine. We'll accept that one. But if we do that again, and that's the thing, there's goals every match. One of our goals that we score, because we average about 2, but one of them is so well worked from a team perspective. It's not just individual brilliance of picking the ball up at the halfway line or in the final third and just individual brilliance shifting here and there and then boom, oh, look at that, he saved us. It's not that.
It's always when we've been at our best. 1 or 2 touch, passing, attacking football, playing it slickly, playing it at pace, and other teams can't cope with it. We've seen it at times this season as well. When we've been at our best in recent seasons, under both Pochettino and Redknapp, we were doing the same. That is the way forward for me. People that are going to champion some defensively minded manager or one that grinds out results, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not interested. That's not football worth watching, and it's not something that ever works at this club. It's never worked. People say, "Oh, where has attacking football ever got us?" Was the only times we've ever really won anything. Any period of sustained success at this club is based on attacking football. That's a fact.
Well, I like that. I like that very much. Kuva talking to me nicely.
I'll go back in history. Started off with like the 50-51 side with Arthur Rowe. That we were the ones that basically pioneered the push and run style of football that every modern game is based on today. We pioneered it in this country, and we won the league doing it. 10 years later, we're playing that same brand of football, winning the double, first team in the century to win the double. Get known as the Super Spurs doing it. When we did struggle in the 70s is when we went to defensive manager and Terry Neal. Basically left us in such a state we got relegated, but Keith Birkinshaw, he knew what he was doing. He went and talked to like Bill Nick and the people that built this great side from the past and got the sort of players in that we needed to bring that back again. And it was the foundation for us winning a couple of FA Cups, UEFA Cup, getting close to another FA Cup in the 80s as well. We're losing finalists to Coventry. We were playing some great stuff. We had found a balance where not only you're attacking, but you also put a bit of grit in there as well. And I see that with some of our players right now. I kind of seen that determination in the likes of Vicario. I see it in Romero. I see it in Maddison, which I wasn't expecting, but I see it. He's kind of got this determination to get the result. And we've just got to work on it. As people are saying, this is work in progress. Ange has only been here a few months. The only reason we've come off the top of the table is we've had an injury crisis. I have no doubt whatsoever we would have beaten Chelsea if we'd kept 11 players on the pitch. But we didn't. And that's just life. Sometimes you've got to take the knocks. So we'll pick ourselves up. Whether it's tomorrow or not, it doesn't matter. We still will be picking ourselves up. And come the new year, we're going to have a lot of these players coming back. We're going to be finishing the season strongly. If the league's out of the question, which is likely, let's face it, we've got very, very good teams there going at the top there. City, much as I hate to say it, Arsenal are a very good side. Liverpool are. Newcastle are forcing
Wolves almost came back and drew that match with them.
Yeah,
they did dominate that first half. Watching them, I would say the first 35 to 40 minutes, Arsenal, I was absolutely annoyed watching that match. Absolutely hated what I was seeing. Just working the ball so well, making the Wolves look foolish, something we were unable to do for a good amount of that match. And it was really frustrating for me to see that. But then in the second half, they really allowed Wolves to that to me is a mentality. That to me is why I say I don't see them in the long run. It's almost opposite of what City does. City's like chilling out the first half, and then they're like, oh, shit, okay. You got a couple goals on us. Let's go ahead and put this one back to bed. Let's go ahead and put the little brother back in his place and do that. Whereas I think Arsenal are like, look at how good we are, and then they fall off as the full thing transpires.
The worrying thing for me with the Gooners, unfortunately, is we like to make fun of them when they do fail, and they have been, and they've been bottling it, no doubt about it. That happened. But they were finishing regularly 8th a few seasons back. And then they started pushing to get into the Champions League again, and they bottled it and didn't make it. Next season, well and truly in the Champions League places, challenging for the league, bottled it. But they're improving season after season. That worries me, because as much as it's fun to criticize them and laugh at their shortcomings, you can see they are actually getting up there on a consistent.
We need to put our thumb back on them. All right, we need to. That's what I'm. Maybe not this year. All right, let them have their fun, keep dancing with the big boys, but eventually
that's what I'm hoping. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. They haven't managed it in the meantime, and then Ange just got things in working order, and they're chasing our heels at that point, and they've missed their opportunity. That would be the fun one. But there we go. It's strange, you know. You said, like you said rightly, Wolves could have come back and equalised. Arsenal sort of fell away, but you could also look at Arsenal against City, and they absolutely played City off the park, didn't they? And it was they've got that in them now. And unfortunately, some of those little signings that we say are crap. You know, Declan Rice, he's a good player. So we've got our work cut out. Let's just. But I mean, this is a long-term thing. I've said anyway. I've never wanted to be finishing ahead of Arsenal because they're finishing, 17th and we've got 15th. I want them to finish second, have a really good season. But look who's above them. We are. That's what a great season is. Your arch rivals are pushing you, but you still beat them.
I feel this way about Arsenal. I don't like them, not a little bit. I don't want nothing good for them. I don't like seeing nothing good for them. There are people within their fan base whom I'm like, okay, they're a good person, but outside of that, I really got to question their fandom. But also, Declan Rice, I would say he's okay. Yeah, he does that good. He does a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But Højbjerg does a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Now, I'm not saying they're the same player, but I love saying that Declan Rice is just a spicy Højbjerg. You know what I mean? He's just
fun. Yeah.
I'm with it. Really, hey, it may be a little bit stretching of this or that, but I stand by my point. I don't really see what all the hype is, because everything that he does good is all the same things that I think Højbjerg does well. He just happens to do them a little bit more frequently and a little bit better. And then apparently that makes him worth 105 million. But we're not here to talk about Declan Rice. We're here to talk about City. Big up Patty in the house. Big up Orish as well. Definitely don't want to take a loss to Man City. I don't ever go into a match thinking we're going to lose. Patty says, we're in a transition. I honestly feel as a club we are onto something. Arsenal are doing well, and I agree they're clicking, but will cave again. Jason Bell hitting us with a super chat says, I totally agree with Kuva. There's nothing better than beating your rivals when your rivals have a fantastic season. Big up Jason Bell for the super chat.
One of my favourite ever results, and it is for a lot of other fans as well, 1991 FA Cup semi-final against the Gooners. And the Gooners at that point, they were going for I think they were still unbeaten in the league at that point or something like that. They were looking for they've lost only one game, I think it was. And they had already recorded their FA Cup final song. They were so confident of beating us. They were a very, very good side. And they had won the league in previous seasons. And we were underdogs, expected Arsenal to win. And we just stepped up and beat them. That was so sweet because of the circumstances. Winning an FA Cup semi-final is nice, but beating your rivals is better. Beating your rivals who are at the top of their game and they think they're going to just stroll past you. Oh, my God, that's sweet. And that's what I want for this club. I don't want these... people talk about, I'd love to see Arsenal relegated. No way. We want North London derbies brilliant. We want a strong Arsenal side and then us to be even better. That's perfect for me. And huge games like that where you have those... Maybe you're too young for it, Jacob, but back in the 90s, you had these epic contests between Man United and Arsenal, because it was either one or the other was winning the league all the time. And you'd have these massive occasions when they played each other. You'd have sendings off, perhaps even pit brawls on the pitch. It mattered so much. That's what I want for us. I want those moments where we're playing the likes of City and Liverpool and there's something on it and the winner of that game is likely to go on and win a league title or something like that. That's what we've got to aim for. People say, oh, yeah, I just want pretty football and that's good enough. No such thing. I want winning football, winning style, and then rub it in everybody's faces.
Yeah.
And you know what? If we do win the league under Ange Postecoglou, I'm going to be one of the most insufferable pricks on the whole of YouTube constantly. I'm just going to be giving everybody some of it because that's just what it's like. You're supposed to. It's what being a fan is. Enjoy every moment.
If Ange wins us the league, I'm getting an Ange silhouette tattoo on my body.
I'm getting his face tattooed over mine.
You're just going to go with the Ange face. That sounds like a creepy ass horror movie directed by some horror directed by Kuva. There you go. Yeah, horror movie. I'm wearing the face of Ange Postecoglou. Big up Jason Bell. Thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. Look, we are almost on an hour and a half. Kuva, I don't know how long I have you for, but I do want to do a little bit of a predicted lineup here between us and what we think we'll see tomorrow. I'm starting to get pumped, Kuva. I'm starting to get pumped. I'm starting to get the show started. My mic was the wrong input. I wasn't feeling so good, and then I fixed the technical aspects, and then I was starting a little bit like I'm getting scared here the more I start actually thinking about this match. But now I think the tides are turning within Jacob. They are turning into, all right, maybe we can go up in there. We're going to do a little something. We're going to pull up. We're going to do a little something, maybe. I feel a point. Man. I feel like a 2-2-3-3 back and forth. We go up, they go up type of. I think they're going to go up first, but then we'll come back and probably go up, and then they'll equalize, and then we'll end it on a draw. That's what I feel that. I don't know if that's my official prediction. Not trying to foreshadow or give anything away, but man, I'm really like, this might be you know what, Jacob. For the first hour, I'm feeling that too. I just think when it comes to having to bring substitutes on because players are getting tired, they can bring on world-class stars, and we're going to be bringing on Skip and, whoever else is fit, maybe a fold-up chair or a piano or something, whatever we can get out on the pitch. Who's left now? I don't know. I think Philip Craig is probably going to make an appearance on the bench. Now, I did also bookmark a tweet. There was some academy kid, Thaddeus something, that it looked like it appeared as though he was training with the first team, and he posted about it on his Twitter. And I was like, maybe that means he's going to come.
Some of these academy players have got to be close to it. Well, Ange has hinted as much. I think I'm just going to trust his judgment on it. If he thinks a player's not quite ready yet, then he thinks they're not quite ready yet. It's a lot to take on board. It's great that they're playing that Ange style of football through the whole club now, but it's still a hell of a jump going up from, playing for the under-21s and going up to first team football. So maybe some of them are very, very close, but not quite yet. Could be fun to see them go against City, though, couldn't it? It can't be worse than Dyer, can it?
I just shudder at the idea of thinking about Eric Dyer playing with that. But look, I like that from Patty Hart. It says we win, we draw, we lose. As I said, fans, we need to look at the long term with Ange, and I promise you it'll be bright. This is really how I'm feeling, and that's why I guess like I talked about that. I was on a rival channel. They were talking about mentality of Spurs fans, and I was like, I don't think it's a mentality thing. I think it's myself anyway. I can only speak on myself, that I feel like I see the budding beginnings of something great, what could be, right? And I was sold the same fucking dream with Jose because we started out. I was sold the same fucking dream with Nuno. Not Nuno, excuse me, Conte. It was not with Nuno. With Nuno, I was like, okay, we're definitely in the shitter here. But then we got content. I was like, well, we might actually do something. We got top 4 when no one thought we could. We shouldn't have, but we somehow squeaked it, got top 4. And I started thinking, you know what? Anything's fucking possible if we go in this summer and we really bang, bang, bang. And we did not bang, bang, bang. We did bang. We got Basuma. Udogi, we did the deal for. We didn't actually get him at that moment, but we did get him eventually. So, look, I've been sold the dream before, Kuva, but this feels different. This feels different than with Conte. This feels different than with Jose. This feels like it might actually be the beginnings of something, and not just like, let's go in there and bang and let's get something and let that grow and win and that's it. Because that's all it would have been. It would have been sustained success. We would have won that Carabao Cup and then been the same shitty Spurs that we were, you know what I mean? If we had stuck with Jose. That's just an example. Like, I think that I want to win trophies, but I would also like to win trophies and like sustain that level of quality. Of what and to the point that you were making a little bit earlier as well, Kuva, I agree in the sense I would love it if there was no injuries ever and we could just see the best of everybody because that gives everyone the best product. Whether you want to see someone be good or not, the best players for them, the best players for us, and everybody's healthy, and let's see what we can do. That's what I would like to see. Because I don't like this, oh well, if so and so gets injured and this is going to happen and then it starts taking away from the overall product, in my opinion. But look, that is what it is. But
absolutely. The game, it's a spectator sport. You need to have spectacle. So I don't see. Are you
not entertained?
Yeah, that's how I remember doing a little meme putting Pochettino's face on top of that little still shot from Gladiator, doing the same thing.
Another little quote I want to share before we do our lineups and predictions. Pedro Porro says the title remains the aim for Tottenham this season. Pedro Porro says there is still a long season ahead, but in the dressing room, nobody is going to take away the illusion of trying to win the league. The work we have done so far shows us the path we have to follow. Now this, he's not saying we're going to. He says no one can stop us from chasing this illusion that we've created of a title, of winning the league.
Yeah.
And I like that because he doesn't speak.
That's a winning mentality. You have to stay focused on it, no matter how difficult it is. That's how you get upsets. That's how people do upset the apple cart. You get cup killing, giant killers in cup competitions. You go out with that belief you can do it. If you go out thinking, oh, well, we're done for anyway, you might as well pack up immediately. Go and take up a different thing. That's not professional sports. That's a bunch of losers then. You go for it. You absolutely go for it. Leicester, when they win the league, what do you think they were all saying to each other? Oh, we can't possibly do this. Don't see the point. Let's shut up shop. Or they're going, this is great. Come on, let's do this. Let's do it. Of course they're going for it. You've got to. It's unfortunately for us, it's not a dip in form here. This is a crisis we're going through in terms of suspension.
This wasn't us running a red light and getting T-boned.
No.
This was us driving our course and we got T-boned.
Yeah.
And then when we were like, I think we're okay, someone fucking rammed into the car that was on the side of the road.
The engine's still running, but 3 of the wheels have come off.
Yeah, there's still a car there.
Off we go again, yeah.
Yeah, it may take a little bit because technically I called the store Kuva. They don't actually have the brand of tires we're looking for. We're going to have to wait till next year when they get the shipment of the tires we're looking for. So we will be stranded for the foreseeable future, at least until the next calendar year, unfortunately. But let's go ahead. Let me see what the poll is looking like because we are over an hour and a half. And what are we looking like? 89 votes, 75 likes, 14 people voting but not liking the video. Suspect thing to do, but guess what? You're allowed to do what you want to do. It is your life. 40% says City are going to dominate and win. 22% says Spurs will surprise the world and dominate. Another 20% says Spurs will squeak a win. Squeaky, squeaky. I'll take it. I don't give a fuck however it happens. The 3 points. I don't know that it will. And then 17% says back and forth draw incoming, which is actually interesting because my vote today, Kuva, if I could vote, which I don't because it would skew the votes, thus making them fraudulent. My vote was back and forth draw incoming. That's what I really think is going to happen. I just feel like they are a squad that allows moments in which you can apply pressure to their back line, and they will allow moments and instances. It's just, are we going to be clinical on the day? Are we going to show up and play, you know, to the style that we've shown, and then on top of that be better because we have to fucking finish. We need to, like Aston Villa, we created opportunity after opportunity and it just didn't go in the back of the net. But my thought here is, Kuva, you do the same fucking thing. I'm going to quote something here, Kuva. You may know a gentleman named George Washington. You ever heard of George Washington, the first president of the United States?
Quite popular over there, isn't he?
A little bit. He is on the dollar bill, by the way. But he said something that I like a lot. And it said the best form of a defense is an attack. So if we go out there and we say, look, we can't defend even with the shit that we have at the back. So go out there and attack so much that they are not attacking you, thus negating the fact that we are so porous in defense. So my thought here is... Oh, wait, look, who's that? Look, there's Hassam. Oh, when the Spurs go marching in, he's singing our praises this week. He's a Liverpool fan, Kuva. He's definitely singing our praises this week. He wants us to win. He's team Tottenham this week.
Liverpool definitely in with a shot at winning the title this season. So, yeah, of course he will be, yeah.
Big up Patty Hardness says, what time day are you on next week? Patty, I will be live tomorrow at some point. I don't know if I'm going to do a watch. I want to do a watch along, but the thing is I can't. Like, there's a lot going on tomorrow, so I can't, like, just be streaming all day and then leave my wife all alone. So I'm, like, going to do the pre-match pump-up on We Are Tottenham TV, and then from that, I would have to go straight to doing a watch-along, and then a little bit of a break, and I will be on This Is Football tomorrow night to review the matches, win, lose, or draw. I don't hide from nobody.
Plus, of course, it's a bit of a risk to... do 45 minutes and say we're 4 or 5-0 down, and you've got to do another 45 minutes of a watch along.
That is another aspect that, you know, while I would love for the world to see my face when we shock them and we get the result when no one said we could, I am worried that it may turn into an event in which I don't want my face to be seen. I don't want my words to be heard. I've become, look, Kuva, I bragged for weeks about the yellow dollar sign, the limited ad revenue is not going to happen to me. I'm in America. I can say whatever the hell I want. And then, you know, just carrying on. I guess someone may have been reporting me or something to the feds, but now I'm getting the yellow dollar sign. So I've been on my best behavior.
This is it about being optimistic, isn't it? It's not delusional state. We are fully aware that it's possible we get absolutely annihilated at City. That is a possibility. We just choose to think we could do something good. So we're going to back that because it's. I prefer to think we're capable of going out and playing some good football and give City some problems, ride our luck, and maybe we get a really, really memorable result. maybe that can happen. I prefer to look at it that way than go, oh my God, we're losing 10-0. This is going to be the worst result in the history of Premiership football. And like, oh, we got the worst manager ever, and definitely everything's going downhill. You know, I'll just look at what's been happening this season. That's not been the case. Even when we haven't been at our best, we've been resilient. We've found ways to get past other teams. What's happened is we're in the middle of this selection crisis because players, big name players for us, are missing. And if you had to pick 3 or 4 players to be out to sabotage this team, you'd be hard pressed to pick players that other than the ones that are already out. Maddison, Van der Ven, Romero. That's massive losses for us.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. They are absolutely massive losses. Patty, the 3K celebration stream, I've moved it to next Saturday. It was going to be this Saturday, kind of a celebration before the massacre type of thing. But I moved it a week because you know what? Why the fuck not? Let's get this dub versus City. Let's get the dub versus West Ham. Then we throw a party. Then get the dub versus Newcastle. Obviously, that's just me being hopeful. But big up, Patty. Big up, Ash in the house as well. Good to see you here, Ash. Hello, how you doing?
Big up, Ash.
I'm gonna go ahead and share this screen now. So let's pick our squad here, Kuva. I've already picked some positions I think were pretty self-explanatory.
I think we're done now, aren't we? That's it. Have we got anybody else now?
I think Royale. This is what I think, based on what we saw and how much I do not like Eric Dyer. I'm still going Emerson Royale at the right center back and Ben Davies as the left-sided center back.
You know what? I think Emerson Royale did okay. He was okay at center back.
He wasn't as bad as I think he could have been.
Yeah, he wasn't a 9 out of 10, but I thought he was a
think about from his perspective as well. A right back comes into a team, plays right wing back, and then left wing back, and then he comes back, plays some right back, then he goes back to left back. Now he's right-sided center back. I think he's just eager to play at any of the opportunities, thus helping make him versatile. But he actually hasn't been the worst thing since sliced bread. You know what I mean? I'm not saying sliced bread's bad, but I'm just saying that he hasn't been as bad as our other options at that position. Like, I don't think anyone ever says, yeah, I can't wait to see my right back play at right center back in a back two, essentially, when the formation's flowing, especially against Manchester City. But I am still concerned about Jeremy Doku running in behind Pedro Porro, and thus leaving a 1-on-1 versus Emerson Royale.
I mean, this is it. Gonna have to ride our luck. We can't. I mean, let's be face. This is being realistic. You look at the teams right now, and player for player, you look at the Man City squad. They've got amazing talent. This is a well-drilled, oiled machine. Even with the likes of De Bruyne, who's arguably one of the best players that's ever been in the Premiership. Well, not arguably, he is one of the best players that's ever been in the Premiership. He's missing, and they've still got a great team there. Absolute great team. So, let's not worry about that. We know we're going to have to fizz something nice.
Drug Video says,
bring him on. I'm never going to change my ways. I think we've just got to accept that to get something, these players have to play out of their skins. There's no other way around it. We can't go there and play an average game and expect to get something.
I don't think we can go back. We can go there, sit back, and defend with players who, quite frankly, are not the greatest at defending.
We couldn't do it last season when we were trying it, could we?
No. So
last season, it was going very well at half time last season, wasn't it, for us?
Yeah. And then what did we do, Kuva? Invited the pressure on and
special sort of defending again. Yeah, I mean, it's just not us. We just don't have players with that mindset to play deep lying defense. It's just not us, is it? I think the only chance you've got to have Romero in the team for a start. is Van der Ven really cut out for it, defending on the edge of his box? Not for me. He's the defender you want on the halfway line, playing that high press, utilise his pace. He can't utilise his pace if he's stuck on it in his own penalty area. So, let's not even try it. Just get up the other end of the pitch. If we lose the ball in their half, hey, at least they've got to run a long way before they can get to our goal. We lose it at the back, they just take a shot immediately.
And even if we did sit back with 10 men in our own half, I think they would still find the holes. They would still find the creases and crevices and find a way to get their goals, because we are porous. And these are a bunch of scrum squad of players that we've kind of just thrown together. Here's Ben Davies and Emerson Royale. Get out there and fucking defend us. It's like, I mean, my expectations are low. Like, they are very, very low for them to do well. But let's look at...
You convinced me anyway. Emerson Royale, let's forget about his talent and what he offers on the pitch. It's the vibe, isn't it? I want us to do well so you can say, yet again, Emerson Royale's... When did we... how did he do in the games against City since we signed it?
I think he did okay in one game, I think. I think he's been in 4. I think he's been in 4, and he's been okay in 1.
Let's make it 2 then.
Let's make it 2.
Man of the match Royale tomorrow.
Hat-trick Royale? You know, someone put they posted a picture of a bet on Twitter, Kuva, and it was like, this is the most sure bet I've ever had. And it was Emerson Royale hat-trick versus City. $5 paid out like $5,005, something like that. I think that's a good bet for $5. What do you think?
1 goal, maybe. 2, that's a stretch, but it's not beyond the realms of impossibility.
3, Kuva.
3, that's just. I think that should be more than 1,000 to 1 odds. I think that should be more like 100,000 to 1, maybe.
Yeah, but it could just be $5 down the drain. But I'm just saying,
it's a bit of fun, isn't it?
It is a bit of fun.
I always have a bet on us winning the quadruple at the start of a season. Always put £5 on that, just because why not? It's my fun. It's my money. I can do that.
Exactly, my money. Piss off. You don't like that bet. Let's go ahead and fill out the rest of the squad. Midfield, Kuva. I'm saying Bissouma. He's back. He should be ready to go. Now, I don't know if it's going to be the version of Bissouma that we know and love, or the version of Bissouma that is Luton Bissouma. But I'm going to be hopeful that we will see the good Bissouma, the true Suma, some would say. So I think he's a sure lock there. Do you think Giovanni Lo Celso did enough last week to solidify a starting position in this makeshift midfield?
No, but he's going to start anyway because we haven't got any choice. He did okay, actually. I think he did really well. I think the trouble for him last week was in the half an hour that he was on the pitch, Bentancur just looked absolute Rolls Royce sort of player. And it outshone what Lo Celso did. Lo Celso was okay. He picked out a few decent passes. He did get the goal, all right. It was deflected and everything, but he did not make good contact with that shot. So, sometimes you create your own luck. I think we've just got no choice right now, have we? Who else is going to go in there? Skip? Yeah.
The thing about Lo Celso last week versus Villa, that he showed me a couple things that I actually didn't expect him to do, which was defensive work, which was not necessarily him losing the ball, someone else losing the ball or an errant pass, and he tracking back to win that ball. I saw that like 2 times. I was like, hey, look at that. Thumbs up. Hit the like if you haven't already. Make sure you hit a like. But hey, how about that? Giovanni Lo Celso getting stuck in, winning a ball. Huh. Didn't think I'd see that in fucking 20.
Is it? No.
I've never seen, I don't know that I've ever seen him getting stuck in before. But he was and the passing as well, I think I know it's not James Maddison, but when we're so starved of creativity, he had forward-thinking passes that found Heung-min Son in the box, that found Brian Hill, that found I can't even remember, was it Ben Davies or something, Hoiberg, but he had some intricate passes that I
Yeah.
think our squad doesn't have at this moment in time. And I've been a big critic of Giovanni Lasicno. Look at that, another thumbs up. I have been, but I think at this juncture, I would not want to skip over Lo Celso. Now, the next position for me is another person who last week I think showed me something that I want to see as well, which is a forward attacking mindset, ability to hold up play and find a creative pass. Now, I know he's not two-footed, but if he can one-footedly do a job, which I thought that was one of the more pleased I walked away from the match. Like, you know what? I think you were okay, Kulu. Now, should you have fucking finished one of those two fucking beautiful chances? Yes. But everything else from the aspect of not being a winger, I enjoyed. What about you, Kulusevski? Last week, what did you make of that?
Yep, stick him in that number 10 slot if you like. I suppose you could look at it. Perhaps are we looking at it as a very attacking sort of lineup when we're playing more of a 4-1-4-1, which you could be looking at of say Lo Celso and Kulusevski very attacking minded, and with Hill and let's assume it's going to be Hill and Brennan Johnson. And then Sonny up front, that's a possibility. Or is Lo Celso going to be a little bit more reserved and perhaps do a little bit more what Bentancur was doing, raining the balls out from the back? He could do a bit of that. I agree, though. Kulusevski looked better playing in the middle. I think if you're predictable for going into the middle, then start in the middle. That's fine.
That's a great point.
I think what really is going to matter there, if we're going to get any joy from that side of the pitch, is finding a way for Porro to get past the halfway line on a regular basis, because he does have that delivery where we could cause them problems. Yeah. We do still have a few players that can produce a killer ball or a killer cross. It's just a case of putting it away when we do get the chances, because I'm expecting City to have more shots than we do.
I do remember there being one very nice looking cross from Brian Hill that literally buzz cut Youngman's son across the head, and I was like, if that's a fucking if he's 2 inches taller, that's a goal there. So not bad delivery in some sense from a winger aspect. That look, Villa's Villa. This is a new beast, I think. Something else I saw in the Villa match was Brennan Johnson starting on the right wing. I want to see that again. I think at the left wing, I've been kind of let down. I've been hoping for more from Brennan Johnson on the left wing, and I haven't been getting it. And I don't
think we used him enough on the right wing against Villa. I think we tended to attack down the left
because we put him back to the other side at one point, and I was just like, There was a great run that he had against their left back, Luca Dean, that it was played into him. The man was on, boom, he got away from that, and then here comes Luca Dean, and they collided, and boom, he continued his run, and he found Brian Hill in the box. It was a great run from the right wing position from Brennan Johnson, and he found Brian Hill in the box. Now, Brian Hill did a one-touch pass behind him straight to an Aston Villa player, but if that's fucking Son that he finds in the box, Son's shooting that, and then maybe we get a goal there. So my thought is, actually, I'm tired of seeing Brennan Johnson at the left wing, and I am fucking tired of seeing Kulusevski at the right wing. The things that Kulusevski's doing well as a right winger is running a lot and physically holding up play. Now, that's great, and I like that. You need power in this league to be successful, but I think the best blend of a successful player is pace and power, and he does not have the pace. Therefore, what do you do with someone who doesn't have pace? You bring him inside. You slide him inside. You let someone else be the guy who's going to push that line forward, really stretch the pitch, where Kulusevski can use his power in the middle at holding up the ball, being creative and finding these passing lanes. Like, that's what we're crying out for right now. And Kulusevski seems to be a guy who can, A, strongly hold the ball up in the middle of the pitch, and B, have a mindset for getting forward and finding that creative pass. Now, Lo Celso has found a couple of creative passes as well. So my thought is, we do go out all attacking. We let Basuma just be that single pivot, and we attack with, let Lo Celso be that box to box balloons. I don't know why that keeps happening. And I don't know what hand gesture I'm doing that is making that happen. Yeah, I agree, Ash. I think Kulu's more of a Madison replacement. I just don't like seeing him on the wing personally. Look, over
I
100
think
people across all platforms. Real quick, make sure you hit the like. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Again, thank you to everyone who is subscribed to the channel. We broke 3K this week, so that was absolutely fun. Gonna have a little 3K party next week. A week from today, at this very time, we'll be doing a little celebration party. So big up to everyone who has subscribed to the
sounds
channel.
good. Yeah, I think Kulusevski. We've had this conversation before a couple of times. I think when we see him out on the right wing and he does go inside, there's nothing wrong with him doing that, provided Porro is overlapping him and becoming that right winger at that point. If he does that, he's drawing a player inside, giving a little bit of space to Porro to overlap and hopefully get the ball put in a great cross. But we're not seeing that, are we? We're seeing Kulusevski drift inside and Porro's holding the midfield role. What's going wrong there? I can't believe this is by design that we completely neglect the right wing, but I don't see what else it could be. Because I look at the individual performances. Well, we know Ange likes to have wingers that can capable of joining in, attacking wise with both scoring and creating. What are we really going to get from Kulusevski at the moment? His confidence in finishing is clearly shot, isn't it? So what else is there? We've got the work rate, but there's something lacking on that side of the pitch. It's become a real problem. It looked better, I think. I agree. I want to see Brennan Johnson start there again. Kulusevski in the middle playing as a number 10, so it makes sense. He's probably the closest we got to having a Madison there.
Yeah, and what I found interesting was when you look at the areas which Madison occupied when he was operating successfully, he almost drifted into the areas like upper left winger, kind of the top of the box on our left, and then middle and then left and right all along that central, and then even tracking back to our own box. And it's like Kulusevski's doing that, but just on the right hand side. So it's not too much different as far as we know he's going to track back and get into those spaces defensively, at least be a physical presence. And I appreciate that, which speaking of things that I appreciate, Spurs Psych grabbing their YouTube membership. Thank you so much. And big shout out to every single one of you who is a YouTube chat member. The YouTube doesn't take as much of a percentage of memberships as they do of super chats. So thank you to everyone who spends their money on the membership here. I am trying to innovate and do some more here for the members. So that is coming. It is coming in due time. I have a plan. Just need a plan of action now. So we'll get there. But big up Spurs Psych for supporting the channel by becoming a membership. Thank you so much. Bonnie says Højbjerg created chances last week. Kulu on the right, Højbjerg in the middle, bench Hill. Do you think that Ange might do it? This is a very good point. That might actually happen. I just don't want to see Kulu as a winger. I personally don't want to, but this is very much a possibility. What do you think is more probable here, Kuva? That we'll see what we're asking for, which is Kulu playing not as a winger, or do you think he's going to get put up back on the right? Then we're going to see. I feel like two bad things are going to happen in order to supplement putting Højbjerg in here. You put Højbjerg in, now you're moving Brennan Johnson back to the left, which I don't like, and then you're putting Kulu back to the right wing, which I've already said I don't like, and then Højbjerg's in there, and I don't have a problem with Højbjerg, but what I don't want to see is Brennan Johnson on the left. I don't want to see Kulusevski as a right winger, or maybe as a left winger. I'm willing to see what that looks like. You know what I mean? I'm fine with that. Whip some crosses in. Do something else. He can't cut inside if literally you cut to your left and you're out of bounds. You know, maybe a way of limiting his one trick. I don't know.
So put Kulusevski so far on the left wing that he can't. He's got no choice.
You cut it on that left foot, you're going into the fucking bleachers, my friend.
That's fair. No, it's a possibility. We don't know. I mean, Ange is still finding his way with what he's got to work with at the moment. It's injuries and suspensions and changing what he can put out each week. So there may be some surprises. He surprised us in the last match in a pleasant way, I thought. For me, there's still a huge question mark over Hill, and I could see why he might drop him. I think Hill did well against Villa because he was given all the freedom in the world. They just weren't marking him. Villa stayed very narrow in their defence and played the offside trap. Did it to good effect at the end of the day, even though we should have won that. Now I think with Hill, my worry is he's going to be up against the likes of Kyle Walker on that right side, and I don't think he's going to come off very well against Kyle Walker. I just think certain players like him, more pace, more power, experience. I think Hill's a little twinkle toes player. I'm hoping he proves me wrong and he has another great game. That would be great. It really would. I don't like seeing our players play badly. It's bad for the club. It's bad for morale. It's bad for the fans. Bad for the players. Even if we're looking to sell them on, I want them to play well because it bumps up their transfer value. So I'm hoping Hill comes in, keeps his place. We're seeing roughly what we saw last week, but with Basuma back to cover Bentancur. And that's all there is to it. I've just got to wait and see. I doubt Hill. I really do. I think there's talent there, but I think he's so lightweight that when he gets man marked, I think he's going to disappear. I really do.
I agree with you, Kuva, because for me, I have the same doubts and fears surrounding Brian Hill. I've heard since we hired Ange Postecoglou, Brian Hill is the prototypical what you want to see in an Ange Postecoglou style of winger. Now, last week was the first real time that I got to see him as an Ange Postecoglou winger. Start the match. Let's see how he does. Not coming off the bench, playing some kind of mixed role of winger / right midfield. I want to see what is he going to do as a left winger, which is his preferred position. If you put him in the sunny side of Spain, that's where he would want to play. So I thought he was okay. I thought there were moments in which he could have been stronger. He got played off the ball, but I thought there were moments as well when he tracked back, won the ball, or received the ball with tremendous amounts of pressure, and he was able to find a way through it. And there were moments and instances where I said, okay, Brian, just like with Giovanni Lo Celso, where I said, okay, thank you for that. Let me see some more. Thank you. Okay, you could have done better, but let me see some more of that. It's not as much as how it has been where I'm like, dear God, don't give him the ball, because every time he gets the ball, I see what's going to happen, and this is what continually happens. So it's not as bad as it feels when I look at this, but I still think that this is not a strong enough squad to beat Manchester City in their own ground, lest there be some fucking fire in the belly of all these bastards come tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. my time. Now, that's a possibility that it could happen. They make fucking movies, stories from the beginning of time have been written about the underdog somehow, some way getting what they're trying to do. Now, there's lots of stories. I can name them all, but I ain't gonna. But big up, everybody. Over 100 of y'all across all 3 platforms. Again, make sure you are liking and subscribing. MG says, I'd like to try Son on the left, Johnson central forward for his speed, and Kulu on the right. Now, I think I personally wouldn't like to see that, because if Johnson receives the ball with at his feet in the box in front of net, do I think he can finish that better than Heung-min Son could if we work the same schematics and find a way for Son to receive the ball? In a hypothetical situation, they both receive the ball in the box at their feet, take the shot. Who do you think would get that goal more times out of 10? And my answer is Son. And until someone else at least provides a competitive difference, there's say we signed Ivan Toney, then you might say, okay, well, this is a guy, if he receives the ball at his feet in the box, he may be able to finish it more times out of 10 than Son would. And once there's someone who's at that level where you can question if Son is now or not the best finisher in the box that we have in the team, I think right now, definitively, 1,000%. There's no one in the squad that can finish in the box better than him. Madison is some people that they used maybe he could, but obviously he's not here, so it's kind of null and void to talk about that. So, look, I'm just saying Son loves a goal versus City. I'm saying stick Son straight through the middle where he's found his glory. Let's keep doing what we're doing because it's worked. It found chances and opportunities versus everybody. It's just, do we finish them? Same thing that we do defensively. We allow chances and opportunities in behind. It's just, do they finish them or not? Within 60 seconds of Aston Villa, Kuva, we almost were down 1-0. Big up Hansi G. It is absolutely possible. It is absolutely possible. It is improbable, but it is not impossible.
Yeah, it's back in the long shot, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's all. That's all.
So the last part of the
you don't give up just because things are difficult.
No, hell no. The last thing I want to do with the over 100 of y'all would shout out happy Saturday evening or Sunday morning, whatever time you may be tuning in from. It is the time of the show. We've shown you our this is what we think the lineup's going to look like. I'll read it off for you, those of you who aren't watching the screen. It's Vicario in goal, Pedro Porro at the right back, right center back Emerson Royale, left-sided center back Ben Davies, and on the left back is Destiny Ugodi and Yves Bissouma in the midfield. Kind of as our deep lying anchor, if you will. And then Kulusevski in that forward role with Giovanni Lo Celso with that box-to-box 8 work that you'd see Bissouma do. But I need Bissouma to just be he's the best defensive mid we have out there in this lineup specifically.
Be that Bissouma that was at the start of the season who was getting man of the match or
back-to-back.
Nominated for back-to-back, yeah.
Back-to-back.
We need that player back really badly at the moment. One thing I was going to add to that formation and the question about playing Brennan Johnson through the middle. It's one of my ideas for a tactic as well was Brennan Johnson through the middle, but with Sonny as well. You play with a 2-prong attack. And then you pack the midfielder out with Bissouma, Lo Celso, Kulusevski.
I would not be opposed to taking out Brian Hill, putting Bissouma in there so we still have a double pivot and then the defensive mid position, and we still have the 2 forward attacking mids, and then we just have 2, so almost a 4-2-2-2.
Yeah, a Doggy and Porro being the width and in the attacking third. You just got to have the very hard working midfield there with the responsibility of covering those positions when they go forward. We used to do that when we had Rose and Walker as our fullbacks under Posh. That is what we did. The likes of Ndombele, likes of Dembele, I won't disrespect him. Sorry,
the likes of Ndombele. Hey, Ndombele started for Galatasaray in the Champions League, by the way.
They're doing okay. They could knock Man United out, couldn't they?
They are not bottom of their group. I'll tell you that much.
It's true. It's true. United have to beat Bayern Munich, don't they?
Yeesh. But Bayern Munich, I think, are already through. It's going to be a tough task.
Yeah, they are well and truly
They need to win, and then they need results to go
everybody
their way
else
as well.
is level. So I think everybody else is on 5 points. So Man United have to win, and then they have to hope that one of the
other
others
ones draw. Yeah, because their goal differential. Yeah, it's interesting. Fuck them.
Exactly. Let's enjoy it.
Chat. This is the time. Get your goal scoring prediction. Get your score predictions in, and if you so fancy, who's going to score the goals for you? Let me know now before we end off the show. We are here over 2 hours on the show, bringing you premium content, quality, grade A quality content. Is what I was trying to say. So make sure you are hitting a like. Make sure you are clicking on the link for 3 Spurs Boys, clicking a like and subscribe over there as well. Well, look, we are 5 likes away from 100, so big up to the 95 people who have liked the video. 111 votes. 41% still saying that City will dominate and win, but a little bit more votes on the other categories. I like to see that. So now is the time, chat. We'll go through all of the chat score predictions and goal scores before I give mine. But as customary, I do allow the guests to go first. So Kuva, who's going to be scoring these goals? How do you see this playing out? And what is the final score?
Right. We're going to take the game to them. We're actually going to outplay them for periods of the first half and into the second half. That's what I'm going for. Proper Ange ball against all the odds. We didn't think we'd sit against Villa, but there it was. In fact, you'd argue possibly better than any time this season we played it. But we're going to create some chances, score a couple, but we're going to be conceding a lot of chances as well. That's just the way it's going to be. So I'm going for us outrageously riding our luck and coming away with a 3-3. 3-3, I think. And people will be saying, yeah, but Man City could have scored 15 goals. And we could go, yeah, but they didn't. So that's what I'm going to go for. You're up against it. You got all these players missing. What do you expect? We can't go out there and give it our best game.
Like we said at the very beginning of the show, Kuva, nothing is more dangerous than a man with nothing to lose. So don't tell me what we can or can't do.
I mean 3-3 is going to be a crazy game no matter what. I mean, let's have it. Let's have one of these spectacular ones with controversial VAR decisions, sendings off. Oh God, not us again though. Them this time.
Imagine maybe. They go down to 9 men.
Or imagine we do again, and we do exactly what we did against Chelsea.
No, I don't want to imagine that, Kuva.
Yeah, but how funny would that be if you could just detach the emotion from it and just look at that? We couldn't detach the emotion from that, could you? But
still too soon. Still,
yeah. I'm going. Who's our main man up front? It's Sonny.
Oh yeah.
So let's. I'm going to go for Sonny hat trick. We ride our luck like never before. And just get away with daylight robbery, if you like. But it's just gonna. That's what that's my gut feeling. My head's telling me otherwise. In fact, my head is telling me to shut the hell up. But I'm not listening to my head. I'm listening to my heart because that's what it's all about.
Listen to your heart, indeed. I support that. Let's go through the chat score predictions before I tell you mine. Bobby K says a 2-1 sneaky win in extra time. Hansi G's got 3-1 City. Come on, you Spurs. Big up Hansi G. Big up Steph and boys. That's not a score prediction. Machiavelli says 2-1 Spurs. Come on, you Spurs. Hey, big up. Rowan, we will. Who will come in from the bench?
Yeah, that's the trouble.
Højbjerg and Skip. That's what you're getting off to.
We've got to be 3-0 up at that point.
That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
Chelsea 101 got a 2-2 draw. Love that. I'll take it. 3-1 City, but we finally get a penalty, says Ash. Okay, very interesting. 2-2 goals from Son and Kulu for Ed Sweeting. Hopefully Johnson can play at least 60 minutes. Machiavelli says Spurs 1-0. Son top bins the penalty for Walker handball. Ooh. So that's 2? Where we're going to miss the penalty, or what's going on there? Jason Bell says City 4-3 Spurs. Sonny with a brace, Decky with the other. 4-3, back and forth affair. I think that's still something Spurs fans might be able to be proud of if we give it to the eventual title.
If we really deserve the 3 and it's a really close game, we've battled for it. It's got to be positives to take in for the closing out the season and for next year as well, because we've got to accept circumstance. You can't just sit there and just savage the team and the manager for losing to the best team in the country in their own backyard.
Some would even say in the world right now.
Yeah. Hard to argue at the moment, isn't it?
Absolutely.
City are a fantastic team.
Yeah. Hats off to them, the bastards. Scott M says 6-0 City win, and it won't be as close as the score suggests.
Mr. Sunshine is here.
I love it. I love it. Mike says, would love a high-scoring Spurs win, but I think 2-1 Spurs win. Great back and forth. A lot of opportunities missed on both sides, but we play great and sneak out the win. I love this. A lot of people with the sneaky win, the little sneaky link. Love to see that as well. Scott M says, we'll be 10-0 City, and people will be asking for us to build Ange a statue. Interesting there. Machiavelli says, in all seriousness, in terms of results, 3-1 City. Yanis Rublis says 2-1 Spurs. Sonny brace. Bobby K says 2-1, let's go Spurs. Sonny, Holland, Dyer in extra time. Dyer with the game winner. If Dyer hits the game winner, what do I need to make an apology video? Yeah, right?
Yeah. So if he does that, I'll come on with you and we'll just do a Dyer special saying how good he is.
Oh, hey, I'll take it. If he gets us all fucking 3 points, I will stop slandering you, sir.
Isn't that typical, though, what being a fan is supposed to be? You throw abuse at the player because he's not good enough, then he scores you a winner and he is the greatest. It's like, that's what it's supposed to be. It's all about emotions and going with the flow. Go with spur of the moment stuff. It's supposed to be all about that. Players at the end of the day, they're supposed to earn their money by creating these moments, doing things like scoring winners or keeping clean sheets. So let's see them do it, and then they get a bit of love thrown their way as well.
Yeah, a little bit of love, like a sour patch. A little sour, a little love. Donovan says Lo Celso Son and Bernardo Silva 2-1 to the Spurs. Love to see it. Australian Gooner's here. Big up yourself right now. Gooner from down under. Holland pulls a hamstring, says Hansi G. Oh. Bob down under. 4-2 Spurs. Son, Kulu, Lo Celso, and Pedro Porro. Dare to dream. Love it, Bob down under. Keep the dreams coming. We're going to need them, my friend. Christoph Cavalet says 5-3 Spurs. Love to see that, my friend. Lo Celso hat trick of goals and assists. I'll take it. Come on now. Hypo noise. I don't know how the fuck to say it. Hyponus. Hypo noise? 4-3 to the Spurs. I'll take it. Thank you very much. Doku, yeah, he's quiet. There's a link for Kuva. It is also in the title of this video. Go click a like and subscribe over there. I help get them to 1K ASAP expeditiously. Australian Gooner says 2-2 Rodri red card. Ooh.
Early red card for Rodri is going to change the game a bit.
You know what? If they got a red in the first 15 minutes and then we play our brand, that is a match that I want to see. 10-man City versus 11-man hobbling Spurs squad. We could barely even field a fucking bench. Last week we had 2 goalkeepers and an empty spot. So this week I'm curious to see, is the spot going to be empty? Do we have 2 goalkeepers?
Why go so subtle? Why not have they finish the game with 7 men on the pitch? We've got 9.
Oh, yeah.
VAR's ruled out 8 goals. Half of them have been wrongly ruled out. A totally unjust penalty. City were winning until the last few moments, and then they're completely robbed, and we grabbed 2 late goals to smash and grab. And everybody's thinking the Chelsea game was insane, but this changes what football looks like. Just absolute madness, carnage. That'll be fun.
Yeah, get in. I love to see it. Patty Hartness says 3-1 City, but Spurs fans will see players fighting for the team and see a plan on what Ange wants to instill. Love that, Patty. Except for the loss, you bastard. Christoph says, fuck it, 5-4. Love to see that. It's hypo noise. Hypo noise. Hi, hypo noise. Hello, noise. I'm going to keep butchering it. We're going to keep moving along. I love Kuva indeed. Big up Todd Spurs in the house. Big up Who's News. Good to see you in the chat as well. So big up Jacob Kuva and all. What's all this soppiness towards Dyer again, Jacob? You really need me to remind you there ain't nothing he could do to make me change how I feel about that man. Thank you, Todd Spurs, keeping the vibes appropriate. But if he hits the game winner, I'll love on him for 24 hours. I will.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
But after that, maybe only. If hopefully I can make it an hour.
10 minutes.
I'm going to say, hopefully, the more I think about it, all I need to do is play that one clip. And you guys never win anything, right?
Yeah.
No. Fucking bastard. Yeah, I hate him too, Todd Spurs. You're right. Big bastard. Here we go. Manchester City fan says 100% low scoring game, in my opinion. 2-1. I'm sure he's going for City there. Mountain Bushman says, big up Jacob and Cooper. Big up Mountain Bushman. Late own goal for Spurs win. Ooh, could we potentially? Maybe.
That could be fun.
Ruben Diaz. I would love to see Ruben Diaz get an own goal in stoppage time because they gave him Player of the Year when it so surely should have gone to Harry Kane for the Playmaker of the Year and the Golden Boot of the Year. But that's neither here nor there.
And it's got to be an own goal that's completely unfair, and VAR should have ruled it out. Just because it that extra layer of salt at the end from City fans and other teams that want us to lose, and they can complain about you didn't deserve that, and we can just go, yeah, but we got it anyway. It's just sometimes it's funny like that. We haven't got our teammate.
I loved banging my chest. Palace, we had 1 shot on target and we scored 2 goals.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, we did. And they're like, surely you should be disappointed, right? You have 2 goals and only 1 shot on target. That's actually a failure. I was like, who else could do that but us? Who else can score more goals than shots on target? That's why we're so good. But anyway, without the show going on too much longer, I will leave it there, folks. Look, I am not 100% sure if there's going to be a watch along or if I'm going to do a post-match review. It'll be one or the other here on United Spurs. Or a post-mortem show. Yeah, and I'll just in the arms of the angels. You know, play a nice song. Don't want to get copyrighted with my angelic voice covering that song, so I will leave that singing part there. But look, my score prediction before we sign off the show, I just feel a 2-2 draw. I said I did say 2-2 or 3-3, but you said 3-3, so I'm going to cover all bases. I'm going to go 2-2, and I ain't talking ballerinas. All right? I'm talking 2-2. Nice. Yeah, you see what I did there?
Yeah.
I think absolutely there's no reason we can't come out of there with a point. Now, a win, maybe me pushing too far. What were you going to say?
Goal scores?
My goal scorers, Heung-min Son, Heung-min Dad, Heung-min Hung, at least with one. And then I think Brennan Johnson or Kulusevski gets the other one. And I think it's 2-2. We share points on the day. Hello, my beautiful son. You just wake up from your nap with a little bedhead. So cute. And I'm going to leave the show there.
The end of the show, yeah.
That is exactly what that means. But we have gone almost 2.5 hours. So if that doesn't garner a like from you, I don't know what will. But I do want to say big up to Christoph Kavalets hitting us with the first super chat of the day. And then also big up to Ellie with Just a Girl Loves Spurs hitting us with the second one. Adrian Chia with back-to-back super chats. Big up Adrian Chia. Jason Bell with a $5 dono. Big up Jason Bell. Thank you so much. And Spurs Site grabbing their membership. Look, memberships are available. Super chats are available. If you're watching this back on playback, you can hit a super thanks. And that's the same thing as a super chat, just not live and direct. But what you don't have to do is any of that. You don't even have to hit a like or subscribe. I would just highly encourage you to do so. That part is free. Hitting a like and subscribe is not paying any money. All it does is help me, and it's free. So if you want to be a good person, you want to be a good supporter of the channel, whether you're a rival or a Spurs fan, there's no excuse because there's Liverpool fans hitting the like. There's Chelsea fans hitting the like. All fans hitting the like here. Even Arsenal fans, I think. There's a couple Arsenal fans here. Y'all can tell me if I'm wrong or not. But look, I've enjoyed this show very much. So, Kuva, I also want to say thank you to you for joining me tonight. Again, the channel you can find him at is 3 Spurs Boys. It is in the title of this video. So if you are live or on playback, make sure you click that and subscribe before you head on out. I will be redirecting over to.
Gotta say really quickly, big up to the trolls that you get on your channel. They're good. They're fun trolls.
They're not like the nasty kind. They're like the fun. They're there to poke shit, talk shit, and it's a lot of fun. So big up to those. The funny bunch of folks out there. But look, I'm going to be redirecting on over to Sarcasm City TV with Flawless. So make sure you go say hello, hit a like, and subscribe over there. You don't have to stay. Just hit a like, say USA Raid, something of the sort, and he'll know that I sent you. But if not, there have been plenty of people that go over there and they say, you know what, this is a great channel, and I'm really glad I subscribed because he is a United fan, but he does cover most of the Big Six. So he does have some really good panels as well. So again, thank you so much. 103 likes. We did break the 100 like on the live. So thank you so much to everyone who did help us do that. It does mean a lot when we're able to do that. I will see y'all here tomorrow. So again, hit the notification bell, please. If you want to know whether I'm doing a watch along, you can find me here, or if I'm going to do a post-match react, you can find it here. Either way, one of those two things will be happening here on the channel, so you can be sure to find me here. Just don't know which one yet. We'll find out. That's the fun of life, right? Fluidity. Such and such, insert Bruce Lee quote here. But without further ado, I will end the show. So as always, folks, I want you to stay blessed. I want you to stay fresh up the lads, and come on, you Spurs.
United Spurs of America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.